Hello everyone, how are we doing? Welcome to what's going to be a bit of a shorter stream today, as we are obviously just going to be going through the Liuli Cup matches, but there's only 2 matches today, so only 2 best of 5s. The potential for today to be a much shorter day, and the next few days in general as well. Thank you so much. We're going to have a couple of raw matches pinging off. We're actually going to play some raw match later as well, and as long as this doesn't go stupidly late or something. That's me. Thank you, Substall, for the level 500. Random name for 225. And Anonymous for 75 as well. Is that level 20? I think that's level 75. 125. Another Anonymous at 125. Thank you. Thank you. When is Sterile Clem happening? That's tomorrow. DJ Chris Spear on the 225 on the Raw match. Thank you. Oh my god, Anonymous reached level 900. That's ridiculous. Guys are absolutely, the people that are playing this are absolutely smashing it. Everyone that's played it, I feel like is going huge on the Raw match sponsor. Damn. He added like $600 raised from it. It's mental. Alright guys, they're going to ping off for a little bit. We're just waiting for Vito's first map's going to be Frostline, is what we've just had picked out for Reynor versus Hero. So we're going to kick off into that in just a few moments. After that, it'll be Maxpax versus Skillous. So that's what the plan is for today. Just a couple best of 5s, some sponsored content. Pretty easy, chilled out day. Pretty easy, chilled out day. Sounds good, right? Sounds good. Lovely. Frostlines, ley lines. Frostline, ley lines. Ultra Love going to be the first 3 maps. Nope. Ultra Love was vetoed, so we'll have a different map pick for map 3. Amygdala going to be map 3. There you go. We'll get into the rest of this in a couple of moments. Lambo on? See if he wants to cast. It's the Reef and El Dorado going to be maps 4 and 5. Cool, let me call Lambo, guys.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well.
Nice. Excited for some Reynor versus Hero?
I'm always excited for high-level PvZ.
I think this is going to be a bit of an aggressive series, right?
It should be, yeah. I mean, Hero doesn't actually play too aggressive. He usually plays just some pressure into the later stages of the game. But yeah, Reynor doesn't want to play late games. I've seen him say before, this was not before this series, but in general, the moment he sees a Tempest, he leaves the game. So he doesn't want to get into a late game, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, that's kind of what I was expecting as well. Just any sort of late game intentions from Reynor probably going to be out the window unless he really gets forced there, but I think he's going to do everything he can to not let that stage of the game come around. So we'll see if that's something he can achieve or not, as we have our first map getting hosted up already. So shouldn't be long. We can jump into Frostline, and it's going to be, yeah, some Hero Reynor to start the day off in the Liuli Cup. Only 2 best of 5s today.
Only 2 best of 5s, yeah. this match is a very interesting one because this matchup is the most lopsided for a matchup between two players that you would usually think are at the exact same skill level. But Reynor just somehow always, I wouldn't say gets unlucky, but I think Hero almost got into his head. Where Reynor starts worrying a little bit too much. And then he also plays worse against Hero. Reynor thinks that Hero also just plays better against him. So I think that's definitely a sign of Hero starting to get into his head. But yeah, it seems to be a comfortable matchup for Hero and a bad matchup for Reynor. Because usually if I were to do a power ranking, I mean, right now I would put Hero in the top 4 and Reynor outside of it. But throughout the past 2 years, I would put them at a similar level, so yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, it is definitely frequently going in favor of Hero, especially recently. The last few times they met has all been in favor of Hero, so maybe time for Reynor to break the streak. We'll see what he can do, but yeah, not going to be easy because I agree with you. Obviously, I think we talked about it a lot the last few days, but Hero's playing at a very good level. Like, he's playing probably some of the better Starcraft he's played since returning from the military. He's playing very consistent styles as well right now, rather than stuff which I feel like was a bit more gambly before, so definitely feels like Hero is playing some great Starcraft. Going to be a tough match for Reynor.
It's going to be a tough match for him. I knocked, by the way.
Yeah, I just saw. Accepted.
Okay, nice. And then we're going to share the chat again.
Sick.
Very nice. Such a cool feature.
Yeah, it's actually very good. I remember when it came out, everyone was hating on it. I was like, yeah, I'm not too bothered, but actually using it, it's very cool.
It is cool, and usually they don't really have a lot of good changes.
Yeah,
like, one thing that I wanted for honestly 6 years now already is that the moment I raid someone, I want my stream to automatically go offline. I don't know how this is not possible.
Because it doesn't make any sense, right, to raid someone and stay online.
Yes.
Because you're literally giving all your views away.
It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, they can't even see your stream unless they're tuned into Team Liquid. Because if they're on your Twitch stream, it shows the other one. So yeah.
That's I never actually really thought about that. But yeah, it is kind of stupid. Amazing. All right, we're going to start up on Frostline for our first game of this series. Reynor is the red Zerg in the top right-hand side, representing Basilisk, and looking to see if he can get back on track against that Protoss player he's had troubles with recently.
That Protoss player in the bottom left is Hero, who missed the block already. Actually missed a block on a 16 hatch. And Reynor's drone micro wasn't even perfect. But if he went for a 13 overlord, he would not have gotten the hatch down in time. Or maybe that's why it was a little bit late. Maybe his drone micro was fine and he did actually go for a 13 overlord again. But yeah, this is the type of stuff where these early game interactions, they can matter quite a bit. You would think it's just 20 minerals, but it can be the difference between getting down the hatchery or not. Especially now that it's a bit cheaper.
Yeah, no, these little kind of small tendencies that we've kind of talked about over a long period of time in StarCraft 2 really do have impacts. There's a reason we mention them, and like you say, it's a little tiny thing that can become a much bigger thing very easily, so it's kind of where we sit right now with Hero not getting that block off, so we're not going to be pretty happy about the opening. Just going to see that probe moving around for a few moments.
Yeah. You can also get a good feeling about the rest of the match if you have a good anti-probe micro there in the start. But Reynor already messed up 3 times so far. I think messing up once, you will feel good as the Zerg. Messing up twice, for me, is the expected result. If you mess up 3 times, I think it's good for Protoss. And that, especially if the Protoss sees it as well, he's like, okay, I'm outplaying you right now. The Protoss has a good feeling, you're having a bad feeling because this happens with misclicks. Sometimes, obviously, it's hard to select the correct drone in the correct moment and then click on the correct mineral patch, so you can't always be perfect with that. But yeah, those small things also, it's like 5 minerals every single time a drone bounces away. You practically lose 5 minerals, and then that's also not the end of the game, but it's still a feels bad man moment for a pro gamer.
Like you say, they all just add up, right? So just the things that could have an impact. Like, it's not going to have an impact every game either. It's just some games it will come down to that. So see the hatchery coming down, third base comes in, obviously Stargate from Hero. We're expecting to see a lot of Stargate openings from him. Obviously potential to go for a kind of a mix of different kind of ways to follow up from that Stargate, but yeah, the general consensus is going to be this is going to be a big set of Stargate openings with that Oracle leading the charge in pretty much most of these games.
Yeah, the 3 games he won against Terran in the Masters Coliseum were always Stargate into Twilight. He won twice with Glaives, once with a charge follow-up. So we'll see if he mixes that in as well. Obviously, Hero was the one that popularized the charge opening for a little bit, and then it fell out of fashion. I always expected him to come back with it, even a little bit sooner than later. When I talked with Reynor about this match against Hero, I thought it would be possible that he brings that one for EWC as well, but he didn't. He actually just played standard every game there, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, it was strange to see him kind of coming with such a regular approach at that event, but he showcased why, because he did play at a very high level at that event too, so
Yeah,
kind of worked for him.
sure.
But of course, still very nice to be able to mix it up and throw in some different styles and just make it difficult for your opponent to, you know, necessarily always know what's going on and figure out what's happening. Those kind of things as well.
Yeah, so since the chat is asking, today it's just best of 5s.
Yep.
Loser bracket best of 7 was only Masters Colosseum. It's a Masters Colosseum specific thing.
Yeah, just 2 best of 5s today. So really not a lot of Starcraft, but such is the world. I actually kind of like the 4 best of 5 days. I feel like you get a good kind of decent stream out of it.
Yeah, it's not too short. You're not too exhausted afterwards. It's,
Yeah, I feel like 4 best of 5 is a good night.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay, Hero so far just going for some creep tumors, and now he's entering the natural main base territory, but Spark Crawlers are in position as well as the Queen, so can't get any drone damage done there. He went for a relatively passive opener with a very fast third base, no extra adept warpins. For pressure, instant Stalker warpins, and it's gonna be Blink and +1 from him.
so pretty much the standard of standard as far as these PvZ builds go, and he will put some pressure on with that +1 and Blink play over the next few minutes. We'll see just how well he can continue to do here as the Hydra Den comes up. The +1 missile upgrade is coming out as well. So we start to see exactly where Reynor wants to take this game with the Hydra's going to be a priority. And it's just going to be Ling Hydra as well because there's no Road Thrower in sight. So is there a world where Reynor can get aggressive with this, or is this a tech towards a later game in some way?
I do believe that he can get aggressive if he wants to, either with Banelings or with quick lurkers, but you need the fast Hydra Den on this map, otherwise you can't defend your fort base. Like, no matter which fort you take, you can see it right now, there won't be any creep at it. So defending against Blink Stalkers, you simply need Hydras, preferably with range out by the time the Stalkers hit, or you need +1 melee Zerglings, so it's really just one of those 2 choices on this map. The most common style on this map is Hydra Bane, where you try to kill the Protoss, since the Protoss bases are also quite open.
Yep.
And that is also automatically good against Blink. So what we saw from Hero when he played this map previously is he just went very heavy on Stalker Storm, even just on 3 base. He had a close match against Cyril in the Grand Finals on this map, where I think he had a bit of a lead until a very bad Blink that he had. But aside from that, I think he's going to approach this very similarly. Just safe play, a lot of units. He already is getting a cannon and a shield battery, and then he's going to start Storm quickly.
Okay, so just really building up for that later stage of the game and already kind of saying like, hey, look, I just want to, you know, get my tech online, get myself, you know, some options with the Stalkers, but obviously get the Storm, get the access to the, you know, things that will help kill Hydras, kill Lings. Reynor's actually moving down the bottom right as the Stalkers show themselves on this high ground. He could, I'd say, wrap around, but there's nothing to wrap around from the top, but he can force Hero to run upwards as the Stasis Ward will go on just a few Lings, and the Hydras start to get here with speed finishing. Now Lings come from the other direction, and that's going to try and block any Blink away, so pretty good movement from Reynor in these early stages.
Good movement from Reynor. Any Stalker you kill is really great because you don't really want to remake them. At that point, you want to start spending your gas on the High Templars. And Hero's floating a lot of minutes. I wonder if he maybe forgot the extra gateways and where he's going to take. Is he going to take the bottom fort? Is there a probe moving there? It is. And it's instantly spotted.
Yeah.
That's bad for Hero.
Yep, you know, a good first few moments here from Reynor as he gets this spot as well after killing a few Stalkers and chasing this all away. And now just going to be having our Stalkers coming through. They're going to get rid of a couple of creep tumors there. But that's pretty much all they're going to achieve as Reynor can decide how he wants to do this. He's splitting some units to hit towards the natural, and he's going to have a few units also heading towards that bottom side base. So again, that information is already looking to pay off for him over these next few moments.
Yeah, that's obviously the issue with this expansion setup. Yeah, Hero realizes he can't hold that already, is expanding towards the top. These bases are so far apart from each other. Simply the natural and the fort base that he took are miles away. Hero's also floating so much. He's messing up his macro a bit. Because Reynor is teching behind us. It's not like Reynor is all in by any means, but Hero's floating so much that he's just simply behind in supply due to bad macro.
Yeah. Just making some mistakes, not being the cleanest of games as Reynor is just going to apply some light pressure. Like you say, he's teching up. The lurkers are on the way. Their upgrades are coming, so this is already getting to an improved situation, an improved state here from Reynor, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. As the High Templar sit here defensively from Hero, and he's going to do the right thing of getting the Stargate and a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon down, meaning that he can move into some higher tech air units, which if he can get to, is obviously going to be a big part of dealing with these lurkers. Is there any chance of Reynor seeing success before those Tempers are out? Obviously already poking right now, looks like he's going to have a good opportunity.
I think there's a very good chance. He's up 60 supply. His lurker range might not be done yet, but it's going to be done way before the Tempest show up. And I don't really see how Hero engages into this. He's used up almost all of his storms defensively, barely hitting any Hydras. And I mean, he's going to have to engage into the Zerg army here, which is just not going to be pretty. Because lurker range is about to be done. He's trying to flank with a couple of Stalkers, but he's messed this up already, I think. Good blink from the back, actually. A couple of flicks of a couple of lurkers. But now the Lynx are surrounding and he's not paying attention, and it's all going to shit, Wardy.
Yeah, Lynx around's going to be very good there on those Stalkers. Reynor continues to advance through, and Hero just does not have what he needs anymore in this game. You're right, the Storms really were not that impressive at all for him, and obviously was already looking like a bit of a dire situation for Hero. In that kind of scenario, you got to be very good with your spellcasting. That way, it wasn't really there, and Reynor is going to swarm here on Frostline to take game number 1, just under 10 minutes. And gets himself, I mean, just from start to finish, a very comfortable game, right? Where he, I think, has a good defense against the initial round of Stalkers, finds that 4th base in the bottom immediately. Just was very aware of what was happening and had an answer at every step that Hero took.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was not Hero's best game. I think theoretically it's always better to stay on a lower gateway count if your macro is perfect, but he stayed on 4 gates for very long, and I think he also missed a couple of warpins. He went from 4 to 8 relatively quickly, but he took 2 nexus at the same time, and he was floating like 1400 resources, which is not acceptable. It's like, just at this level you can't do that.
Yeah. Nope. Can't get away with it, as we are just waiting for one person to accept an invite again. That you mentioned it the other day. This would be my greatest request, just to find out who doesn't accept these lobbies. That would be
I mean, that would be sick.
We would be shaming, for sure.
Why does it say Fire River declined the ready process? Did you do it manually, or does it run out at some point?
No, I think I think it can do both. Like it's just the same thing either way. He either cancels the lobby, or I think at some point it does run out of time. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. Maybe I always cancel it before it gets to that point because I get bored. I try.
I think these people should get shamed, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. It's ridiculous. All you gotta do is press a button, man. You know, press one button. It's almost like these guys don't want to be in the game. I don't know. Ley lines from map 2, so I'm gonna get a bit of a more standardized map here for the second game, but lots of bases to be taken. We'll see what sort of expansion patterns we get, and obviously maybe a bit more freedom for what Reynor does stylistically for this one as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, chat, for letting me know that I forgot the observer settings. I always have to put them back so I can rewind, because for some reason you can't rewind if you have the other replay interface. So for practice, this is not great, but...
oh, really?
Yeah.
It's weird. Huh.
I have to change back and forth always between the difficulties of being a player and a caster.
Yeah. Caster player problems. Never heard of such things. I set my observer settings up years ago and I've never touched them ever since. Alright. Yeah, in the bottom left-hand side, we're going to start this game number 2 off with the Red Zerg player who is up a game and looking to keep on doing well for himself here. This is Reynor.
And his opponent in the top right down the map, it's Blue Protoss for Dragon. No, it's for Weibo Gaming. I think it is Hero.
Yeah, Dragon Kaiser became
probably
Weibo, and yeah.
I mean, I would tell him to change the name, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. He did change it recently somewhere, but like I think sometimes it comes in as like a battle tag, and if you changed your battle tag and you can't change it again, it gets weird. The different UIs also like claim their name from different places, so. But yeah, maybe also potentially just different accounts and different servers are getting them messed up as well. Yeah, it would be nice because my brain always just goes to read out what's literally on the screen.
Yeah, same. Hero did manage to get the block this time around, so it will be already better. Hey, Wardy, what do you think about the Spark Rudder change? Like, we see a lot of mid games where the Zerg just doesn't lose many drones from the early game. Obviously, they're slightly behind from Queens costing more, but other than that, I feel like the early game has become a bit more dull in this matchup.
Yeah, because I guess now Oracles don't want to go diving as much. Or they just can't one dive and you can be done already. I hadn't really considered it. I kind of always found early game PvZ dull. I don't know why this matchup, obviously in the past, had a very boring early game, and for me, just watching Oracles and Adepts trying to find drones is not as exciting as like watching like a Terran opening, harassing and stuff. But yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought about it, but maybe it is kind of negative in that way. But like I say, I think in my head, I'm already just accepting that this is very much so a matchup that it is just going to be slow for the first few minutes and a little bit more setting up than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, as a Zerg player, I like that it's easier to defend the Oracles. If I was biased, but from a viewer perspective, I think it's cooler that we see more. We also barely see them lose any Oracles or something. Like, we see way less Oracles being lost, and we see way less workers being killed.
Yeah.
So we end up in a similar scenario more often than not, where it's a somewhat even mid-game, you know, where no damage really happens from the early game, and then most of the damage starts racking up later, or most of the trades start with when the blink hits the field, or the glaives, or the charge, or whatever, you know.
Yeah. I guess it does kind of make the earlier stages of the game, just like you say, like way more consistent, which is obviously less interesting, like you say, from a viewer's perspective, because then you're watching the same game a lot more frequently than a game where people have to adjust to the different workers that were lost, or all the rest of the things that can happen. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Look at that wall by Hero, by the way. What the hell is he cooking, man? This guy, he doesn't take even... Realistically, it takes you like 5 minutes per map to learn a wall properly. And he just doesn't take his time. I think you should do that on day one. You know what I do on day one? I check all the rush distances of each map. And I see how quick the 12 pool arrives and stuff. And then I also check, especially if the maps are good for it to base, how I wall off. With Zerg, you would think with Protoss, that's the first thing you should do, and he just doesn't do it. And he always is like a pylon or two in the wall.
It's pretty amazing how consistently he just refuses to adapt.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Gets 2 drones here. So the Oracle flies through, and the Adept is going to try and take a third base, but the Lings are already there, and they're going to actually threaten the Adept. That's a surround. Oracle will have to activate. Lings committed for a moment, decide it's not a good decision. And now back off.
Yeah, there's not much Reynor could have done differently there. I mean, he could guess that the Oracle's about to pop. Yep. But I would have taken that fight as well, especially because he got a full surround. Maybe Fox frying the probe would have been better.
If the Oracle shows up like 2 seconds later, then the Adept dies anyway, I think, so...
Yeah.
Very close call.
Okay, well, here's a bit of a move out. How many Zerglings does Reynor have out? He has 8 Zerglings with 6 more on the way, which should be enough once they're all together. The Queens are all chasing towards the Oracle, which means now the Queens are completely out of position, and I talked about not many drones going down, but this is looking bad for Reynor because the Queens went super far out of position. The bases were not connected with each other. And a lot of mining time is being lost here, maybe not too many drones initially, but all the Zerglings that went down already, all the extra Zerglings that would have to be produced, this is already great for Reynor. If I'm Hero, I would almost consider recalling, because this is already so good. But knowing Hero, he would never do that. Okay, nice, I like it.
Yep, just happy with the damage. He's going to get out of there, and he's just going to say, cool, got a bit of a lead from this. I'm just going to head back home, get my Blink started up, and maybe when he comes back across with Blink, he's going to have a good opportunity to maybe make some things happen for himself. So we'll see if Reynor's been hurt in the early stages. That follow-up becomes that little bit scarier.
Yeah, he once again moved out with the Adepts. He warped in extra Adepts, which need to get some more damage done now. Or if they do, it would be good for him at the very least. It slows down his Blink timing. Those extra warp-ins. And they're super committed now. They're on creep. He's lucky that Reynor doesn't have enough Zerglings in position, because those should never have been able to get out there otherwise.
Yep.
But yeah, as long as he keeps him alive, they'll add some extra DPS towards this Blink pressure.
Well, the shades keep coming through. Obviously, Lings will be in position, so we shouldn't see anything else really happening here, but we can continue to try and press the issue, as some Adepts are going to come. back down around the bottom side once again, so just gonna head down to the bottom, and those Adepts will come gather up. See if they can still find any openings as they just try and pressure. The Natch is going to walk into the natural and threaten the shade to the main base, so feels like there's an opportunity here. The drones pull, the Adepts will shade into a main that there's no defense in, so even more drones going down. Stasis just catches a drone and a roach. Continues to go very well here so far for Hero.
Yeah, Reynor was planning to all-in, but I hope he cancels that plan, because you can't all-in after an early game like this. It's not a thing.
Yep.
He's re-droning back up to the drone count that he wanted to all-in off of. But yeah, I don't see it happening. He needs to make units anyways to survive, so somewhat of a defensive all-in, but... Oh, this is so bad. He's now also oversaturated. He accidentally put too many drones on this base now.
Yeah, just all falling apart as the Stalker's going to find the top left base. Fourth is looking like it'll just go down. Stasis Ward's going to pop by a couple Lings, so the Stalkers can commit, but the Lings would be attacking them. Looks like we're still going to commit for the hatchery, and it's going to be the right call, because he is going to get it. It's going to be a nice grab right there.
Do the broodings that are stuck in the Stasis Ward disappear instantly when the Stasis Ward is out?
I don't know. I was thinking how it works with Swarm Host Locusts.
Yeah, they do die.
Yeah, they do. I would imagine it's the same thing, because I think they're just based on the same timer.
Yeah, should be. Okay, well, Reynor's gonna try to go for some Zergling drops now, but he's very far behind at this point of the game. Hero being extremely aggressive. That blink forward is crazy. Reynor trying to focus fire down both Stasis Wards, doesn't get the second one. That's still a scary position for the Stalkers. Never mind, they just blink forward. Now the Ravager is stuck behind the Zerglings. And he keeps going more forward. I thought he would then blink back to the low ground, but instead he just keeps going. He has confidence in his Stasis Wards and in his blink micro.
Some classic Hero just saying, let's do it. Full send, no second thoughts, no turning back. Maybe, like you say, a little bit more aggressive than he needed to be as well. Especially when you're in a good spot already. Moves like that is like, you're taking a risk where maybe if you're behind, taking a risk is okay, but when you're ahead, it's just so much scarier. The Lings going to continue to chase, and we continue to try and put those Stasis Wards down, which are kind of looking to carry here for the most part.
Yeah. Multi-prong Stalker is actually not common at all. Usually if you have one prong as the Stalkers and the second one is a more immovable force. And yeah, he gets caught. The Oracles are not here. This is an awful engagement for Hero. Exactly what Reynor needed if he wants to have a chance at this game. It's difficult to blink micro on both sides. Now Hero needs to recoil towards the natural. The cannon is not enough against the double drop. Recoils from his opponent's natural into his own. Something that I haven't seen before, just like that.
A little bit of a unique game, but we are going to start to kind of settle down. But Reynor definitely had a great few moments, right? Got in some good trades because of Hero's decision on how he tries to fight. And then the lane drop pretty successful as well. Right now, the Oracles are causing problems as apparently you don't have enough anti-air, so that's a little bit painful too. Because we just have the Lings now coming in to try and play cleanup on the rest of this army. And the Stalker's going to start blinking backward. Hero still has a pretty good amount of Stalkers, but that is really what he's very heavily reliant on currently.
Does he have a Templar Archives? Because he went 6 gas. He doesn't. Alright, he's just gonna float gas like crazy. Unless he's gonna mass sentries anytime soon. Either way, his upgrades are good. I still believe in his spot overall, but he's being very aggressive for a Protoss that is on double upgrades and floating 2k resources. Against a Zerg that's on 60 workers, just messing units.
Yeah. Like if Reynor had a higher worker count, this would make a bit more sense, right? But Reynor is just building units too, so maybe he can afford to just chill out a little bit, head back home, get some tech online. Like you say, he's got a lot of gas that he could utilize that he's just not putting into play at all just yet, so definitely some adjustments to be made. Well, that could be made.
Now that all the Zerglings are gone, these blink attacks are becoming quite a bit more easy to execute. You can micro up against these roaches for days. Reynor now counter-attacking with the Banelings towards the fort base of Hero. Gets 4 probes there, and it's probably gonna force a pull away from Hero. Waiting for the last second possible there. Please, Hero, come on.
Well, gonna lose a few more just to keep the excitement levels up, as we do have the results and the Stalkers coming down to the bottom side of the map. Just gonna pull across here to, well, again, just try and set back up and deal some more damage. We have ourselves the Oracle's going to go elsewhere. Reynor is still just building Ravage. It's not like he's had a chance to tech up into anything more incredible or amazing, so when you consider that, it definitely feels pretty rough still for Zerg, which we've kind of known about for a while, but there's, like I say, a few moments of hope that maybe shouldn't have ever been there.
I mean, if he ever gets to max out, which I don't think he will, Ravager Bane beats Stalker Zealot. I just don't understand. He could even just add Icons and instantly the game would be over, I feel like. But yeah, this is hard to engage into. There's so many stasis wards. He recharged the Oracle's energy and now he's just messing stasis wards, using the Zerglings as a force field. Now Queens and Ravagers are getting caught on the top, and this looks like a good fight for Hero.
Yeah, it looks like
I'm not sure about that.
Good enough to close out. Stasis gets a catch as well, and the Zealots keep charging on through, and Hero supply is absolutely finally fully heading in his direction, and he is going to take this one down in his favor. So Hero is going to get the win at the end. Just took a little bit of effort, and a game that just went very well for him from the start, and then, like you say, maybe a few decisions that made it a little bit tougher to close out than it needed to be.
Yeah, it's funny that the moment I said that not much happens in the early game, Hero basically won the game off the early game. I think that's cool to see. That it still can happen.
Yep. So with that, we are just waiting a few moments for the game. Someone's just not leaving the game fast enough, I think. That's what's happening. Someone's staying in to add some dramatic effect on the win screen.
I mean, it could be the players just rewinding and checking what's kicking off, you know? That's why I really don't think players should be in this as well, in this party. I think this entire party system is stupid because you will wait for a couple of players or people.
Yeah, I mean...
And then everybody's just sitting here. And also the guy that's hosting can't even know if the guys are seeing the screen in front of them, you know? It's like...
Yeah. No, it's silly. There's no good part to this at all. I think it's so frustrating as well, because it's like, if you're here and ready to go, you click ready, but then you have to pay attention in case someone else isn't ready. That's the part that frustrates me. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are in the lobby and kicking off into game number 3, so it's tied up 1-1 here between Reynor and Hero Amygdala for our map. And kind of staying into some of the more regularly sized maps so far. Obviously some big maps in this map pool, but not really seen any of those in the first few games, huh?
No, not really. I'm assuming that the first map pick was Reynor's, and then the next two are...
No, it was Hero, then Reynor twice.
And then it's ABAB, or is it ABB?
So I think it went Hero, Reynor, Hero, last map. Picks.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite of what I would have expected, because Amygdala, I think, is bad for Reynor. Okay, we see why he picked it then. Is in the top right hand side is Reynor getting ready for a 12 pool.
Yep, puts that straight down, so clearly something planned for himself in this matchup. Is in the bottom left, our blue Protoss player is going to be Hero, and we kick off into this next game with some aggression on the way from the very get-go.
We'll see if Hero gateway scouts. He is gateway scouting. This is... Why the hell is he making an Overlord at 13? Did he forget how to 12 pool? What the hell?
That's a good question. You could have had one more drawn.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not sure what the hell is going on here. Okay, he wants to fake a hatch. This is not a hatch first, my friend. Like, it's 20 seconds too late. There's no way a Protoss falls for that being a hatch first. No way. No way. He knows, right? Okay, yeah, he's making a second gate.
The mind game that never really had a chance.
I mean, I think Protoss players are not good at telling the difference from like a 16 pool and a 15 or a 14 pool. Maybe a 17 pool from a 16 pool. That type of stuff, but they will see a hatch that's 20 seconds too late and realize it's...
Not the right time.
It is not at the right time, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, Well, Hero aware of this. It's going to be Chrono Boost now. That Zealot is going to be there in the wall off in plenty of time, so that is going to be out and defending. And now we sit here and have ourselves a couple of moments where Reynor just decides what he wants to try and do, see if he can poke around for some damage or anything, but I don't think this is going to do much at all, so he just gets turned around immediately.
Yeah, the good thing for Reynor is the moment he saw that there was a probe scout, he stopped making links right away, so he wasn't really expecting to deal any damage to begin with. And he got the hatchery down. I mean, that is big. I still think with the extra drone he also would have gotten the hatchery down. Because he skipped the third pair of links anyways for it. But yeah, it's not as bad now. It's just a little bit bad. Hero faking a Stalker, by the way, with that Zealot. He's gonna cancel that. Very cool move. Because he doesn't have the gas to make the Stalker, and he wants to prevent the Overlord from running into the main base. But Reynor doesn't take the bait and just goes in anyways.
Yep, nice play. Cute little additionals to note. Cute little moves, like you say, as we just have the Stargate coming up, the Nexus coming through, Extractor and the drones continue to build on up. As the probes Chrono Boost out, we have the Nexus finishing on the natural in the next few moments, so after a little bit of a funky start, we're off to the next step of this game, but I mean, how much does Reynor hurt from not doing anything at all here?
I think he's decently behind, like maybe 60-40 already. He at the very least got to completely bypass Zergling speed, which is good for him, and he's not gonna get punished because there isn't a single adept out. So that part is good. If Hero was actually attacking on the other side, maybe even if he just made a second Stalker, like 2 Zealots and 2 Stalkers on the other side of the map, Reynor would be contained on 2 base forever, which is not the case now, so this game is realistically not that bad. It's still good for Protoss though.
Okay. Well, now we're Stalker pinging away at the Overlord there for a few more moments as well, so just get a bit more damage out. A little bit of extra damage coming through for a few moments. And we just have the Oracle coming back in, and once again going to knock down a couple of creep tumors, so it's going to try and stay as active as possible here as well, as the Oracle comes back over. Hatchery on the way on the third base, and we continue onwards.
Glaives is being started, and he was going to take a third base at the same time. He will have a good number of adepts the moment this Glaives is being done, because his gateways were quite early. And Reynor is going +1 melee, which is quite bad for him, so... The drone count honestly is looking fine. It's more the army supply that I'm worried about. By the time this Glaives hits, I think he's going to have a lot of adepts. Yeah. And Reynor, I'm not sure if he even has a Roach Horn in time.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to just get what you need up here based on the fact that this game obviously started in a bit of a weirder manner for Reynor. His times are going to be off from the norm, and yeah, Roach Horn starts now as the adepts are already shading their way across the map to make their first effort here, so it is not looking good at all for our Zerg, and so the Reynor might be in some trouble. Let's see, as the adepts will hit soon. We'll see if Reynor can find some miraculous fight or micro to try and save the day.
Not sure about that, Shade. He gave Reynor a lot of time there to get his defenses ready. I mean, there's not much Reynor can do other than making Zerglings for now, because as you said, the Roach Horn is not done yet. It just was started as the adepts moved out. And the adepts will find the workers. They're trying to force their way towards the workers. That was good zoning here by Reynor, making sure that his drones are safe. That Shade will most likely finish. And that's simply not enough units to kill these adepts, I don't think. Nah, no way.
No way. Yeah, these things are just going to keep going down, so that's going to be pain, pain, pain. They're not going to have a good time here at all. And it's going to be a very good position here from Hero, who, as long as he still has these freaking adepts around, he's going to continue to deal damage, and Reynor's just going to fall further and further behind in this situation.
Yeah, that was not well executed, by the way. The last couple of Shades were not good. I think he should have left some units in the natural. And he could have denied the mining of 2 different bases. And then he also didn't shade in front of the drones, because it was obvious the drones from main would have to run. He shaded too far towards the left, so not on the path of where the drones would run. I think he could have killed more drones already, but that being said, I mean, it's still very good for him.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Very, very good, as we just have the roaches continue to come through, the adepts continue to get chased around, and we just have ourselves the extra drone still dropping. It's really not pretty, to say the least. Again and again. It's pretty darn ugly for Reynor here, who He's even losing a couple more drones to the Oracle coming back in. It gets 3 or 4 more. And Reynor's just stuck pressing the drone key, whereas Hero back at home getting some probes up of his own and establishments for the future. He's actually still, I mean, I guess he's building 2 Mortals at a time, so he's going to go for a very aggressive follow-up and just try and run this off Immortal Adept.
Yeah, I wonder what his plans are, if he's actually going to go for Immortal Adept Sentry, or if he is actually going to throw down a Fortunate and start maybe Charge or something. But yeah, the extra gateways lead me to believe that is, in fact, just an Immortal attack. And that is interesting, because usually for these Immortal attacks it's better to get 1 Robo earlier rather than 2 Robos later. Because he got 2 Robos so far and he only got 2 Immortals and then straight a Prism. In that case you can just save the cost of the extra Robo and make the other one earlier, you know?
Yeah. Well, the Oracle's going to try and poke around still looking for openers. There's many more Queens available now, as the Prism is about to pop here from Hero. And he gets the extra gates up, so we're going to be full sending in the next couple of moments.
Reynor also didn't scout it. He's going to scout it in a little bit. This is the first time he will see the move out. He has Ravagers on the way. He didn't overdrone by any means. He's actually on a very low worker count. But he's trying to get up a Building Nest, which won't help him too much. Being Ling heavy won't help him too much. Roaches and Ravagers is what he needs if he wants to survive this. I love that he's using the Lings as a counterattack. This should wipe out Hero's third base. It's only a question of whether he can survive on his side of the map. I think he should give up this base for sure.
Yeah,
there's no way he holds that one.
Well, yep, this base is going to start going down. One of the spine cores that's built in the game is right there, unfortunately, as the Adepts are going to shade without the supporting cast there, so the Adept's going to go ahead of everything else. Oracle is lost, as Reynor is making a pretty decent stand for this initially. Obviously, he's not just wiped out the third, he's now wiped out the natural of economy as well, so it's going to be the end of the Roach run, unfortunately. So no more Roaches can be built. Does what he have on the field stand the test of time now?
It's a good question. The army supplies are even. He's trying to get up some Banelings. The Ravagers can always get some good corrosive bites in. Hero is now super broke. He's only on 17 workers. The Adepts shade away from the army when the only thing Hero needs is to win the army engagement. I have no clue why he did that. The Adepts have no business being in the main base of Reynor right now, honestly. It's a terrible move. And he's losing a lot of his gas units here. The Adepts now show up again, and that should turn the tides of the fight into Hero's favor once again. Don't lose it anymore. He loses it. Doesn't pick it up. Another mistake here from the Protoss player. The Prism doesn't go down. He really needs to watch out with that Prism. I think he threw it. I think that was a gigantic throw.
Every move, he's going to lose the Immortal again as well. Oh my god. And he's down 12 workers coming out of it. Reynor gets the hold and the defense on 3 bases as Hero just... Many mistakes, back to back to back, right? Just the Adept shade away, does not save the first Immortal. It feels like every part of this just led to the next part falling apart even further.
Okay. I mean, first off, the Oracle should be going back to defend against the Zerglings. You can even recall it, right? That one was almost full energy. And second of all, how the hell did the Zerglings even get into the natural? There were no Banelings on the other side. It's just Zerglings. You can force field them, you can warp in a unit, you can full wall. He doesn't lose that game if the Zerglings don't get into the natural. Like, 0 chance. Actually 0. So that is a massive mistake. But then why the hell did he shade away with the Adepts? I don't understand. I can, you know, excuse micro mistakes and stuff, but you have to understand that if you have 30 Zerglings in your natural, the only way you win is you kill your opponent right there, and you need to keep your army together. Yeah. I mean, I think that was crazy. I think I could have won this game with my off race, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was an ugly ending, unfortunately, for Hero, and Reynor's gonna win this game, which he really had no right winning at all. Like, I mean, made some good decisions to give himself chances, but like, he was in such a bad spot to begin with. Everything just going so wrong for Hero, man. I mean, yeah, and on his own accord as well. This was his, you know, a set of his own decisions that led us here. GG. Crazy.
I mean, that one was nuts. Truly, shout out to Reynor for doing like all the right moves. He gave up the base, he evacuated the drones, he tried to delay the attack for as long as possible. The only way he was ever gonna win was with that Zergling attack, making chaos happen on Hero's side of the map, but holy moly, that is a massive throw. Like, that game was so over.
Yeah. I can't quite believe it, actually. It's really pretty wild. Oof. Alright then, we are going to take a moment and hopefully get hosted up into our next game again here, so get this one started. It's going to be Abyssal Reef as that's where we take this for now. We get this all set up. Heading into this in a couple moments. As Reynor has the 2-1 lead and a chance to win the series here.
Ooh. That type of stuff gets me riled up.
Yeah. Understandable, honestly. It was, it's one of these...
I mean,
it's
actually crazy.
No part of this game is meant to go Reynor's way at that point, it feels like. Like you say, like, you can do things to give yourself a chance, but... Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, Hero is so... I mean, he is the best Protoss player, or at least top 2. But sometimes he makes such errors that are insane to me. Where there's really just a couple of things that you need to take care of, and then the game is won, and then he sometimes throws. But he's so good at other stuff, which is, you know, it's sick. It's honestly sick. I don't think there's another Protoss that would win an early game like he did the game before. You know, he did it really well. And then we load up the next game. He has a perfect early game against the 12 pool. He scouts it at the correct time, has a good response, gets ahead with the glaives, and then there's like 6 back-to-back mistakes.
Yeah.
To throw it. Yeah.
Well, going to Abyssal Reef as we have Reynor bottom right, Hero top left, and Hero instantly with the probe coming across the map to guarantee the block in the early stages.
Yeah, the only way this would not get blocked if it was a hatchery before the Overlord, which Reynor is not going for. He will see that probe and he will know that he has to take a third base.
Yep, we're just going to patrol. Drones go straight away over to that right-hand side. Just going to be pulling straight across for a couple of moments. Away we go.
I love how you can see how professional you are in comparison to me. My chat always tells me to fix the score and stuff. My bracket command in my chat is still wrong. They put exclamation mark bracket in my chat as Masters Coliseum. So people from your chat also put the exact same command and it's actually correct.
I mean...
It's pretty funny.
You know, I mean, this is what I do. You play the game, right? You don't bother with all this other stuff. I have to do this stuff. Like, this was what I'm brought up on. Just gonna see the Nexus on the way, by the way, so we really just take a few moments to get settled. In fact, I also forget the score sometimes. Like, it's like 8 minutes in game, I just forget the score, and it's like the game I decide not to read Twitch chat during as well, so it's just everyone's like spamming, and still just not there at all. This happens sometimes.
All right, well, not much different from 2 games ago.
Nope.
So the exact same opener so far. I'm also fully expecting Hero to go Stargate. I think there will be a day where Protosses realize we completely forgot how to play against Glaives, and they're gonna open Glaives and get a bunch of free ones, by the way. Because Glaives is actually harder to defend now, since the Queens are more expensive. You have less units against it. The follow-up of Glaives has gotten nerfed. Because whenever you would go 4-gate Glaives with a Robo, you would go into Disruptors, and Disruptors giga suck now against Zerg. Like, they're the worst unit you can make out of the Protoss arsenal, like legit F tier. So the follow-up is a little bit worse. You need to go maybe for a different follow-up, but I think you will get a lot of wins just straight up from the early game, since it's so uncommon. Like, everybody's just playing Stargate. I think this is the exact time where you start to mix in some Glaive builds again.
We'll see if he chooses to do so. The Stargate's about to finish, so we'll see the first Oracle popping out, and we'll see where the tech goes from there over the next few moments. The Void Ray, actually, going to be the choice.
Yeah, we'll see if that means that he also goes for a different follow-up. What the hell is this wall? I mean...
Sometimes it's bad just to not ask questions when it's Hero and walls.
Surely you can't always have 2 pylons on the wall and it goes well every time. Yeah, this map is weird to wall off, but there's also real...
There is ways to do it, like...
Yeah.
Everyone else manages it.
The wall is bait. Yeah, this is actually better than the wall he did in Masters Colosseum. In Masters Colosseum, he lost the game because he had a wall and Abyssal Reef where there were also 2 pylons in the wall, but there were, on top of 2 pylons in the wall, there were 2 holes in the wall. So at least the amount of holes went down by 50%.
A couple of queens flying away, Voidray taking some shots. As we do have the Twilight Council and Forge both coming up here from Hero at the moment. The Queen going to be there to push the Voidray back through the bottom. And yeah, Twilight Council, Forge, Nexus, all coming online for the moment.
No kills so far for Hero. And does he have a second Oracle? He doesn't, right? So that Adept will die at the 3rd base. Oh, he does have it, but it wasn't quite in position, so decent pick-off there for Reynor. Rushes his 4th base, which is very nice because the Voidray was out of position. If the Voidray is there, that 4th base is super hard to take against triple Stargate opener. But it will be high enough HP by the time Hero sees it, so Hero can't deny it anymore. And also interesting location of the fort. Usually most Zerg players tend to take top fort, as that one is actually super annoying to attack into with Blink. Either you need to kill the rocks or you need to run up a ramp. So I have no idea why Reynor is taking this fort. Against Terran this would be a better fort, but against Protoss I think this is the worst one.
That's Voidray wants that Extractor. Queens are going to punch it back. The other Queen showing up. Extractor actually goes down, so a little bit of a gas now here from Hero at this point of the game. I'm just going to be able to grab that as the Blink and +1 both continue through. The Gateway and additional probes are coming out. The Spore Crawl are going to be there to push the Oracles away, but it's still a few more drones as the Lings make their way to the top. See if they can find anything themselves as Hero finishes the wall up that initial ramp, and now it's just going to be the 3rd base that is open to attacks.
Yeah, that's dope. He now basically has the wall that people usually have. With 1 more pylon in there, but that's not too bad. Hero's hitting a supply block. I think it's not the worst one ever. He already is going up to 6 gas. I think he's just going to play normal again. He did try to play normal once on Frostline and didn't go his way. This early game he also didn't get too much done. But I like that he's just going back to the more straight up playstyle. I don't think just from one game you need to be that discouraged.
Well, +1 Blink on the way through. Temple Archives is coming up as we just have the feelings. We'll get ready to deal with Stalkers here soon. I mean, Temple Archives is already on the way as well, so we get that started too. Bring that into play.
Good info from the chat. He actually took this fort because he blocked the other one with a tumor by accident, and he just killed that tumor himself. So yeah, now it all makes sense. Yeah.
Yep, I guess that is a an answer indeed, as we just have the Lings moving about. It's funny.
Reynor going 7 gas. Usually whenever Zerg goes 7 gas is some type of all-in. Hero rushing Fleet Beacon and second Stargate without any scouting of the drone count. And I believe he's being all-in. I'm not quite sure yet how Reynor wants to attack, because Roach Hydra all-ins are not very good on this map. Since you need to either go through the rocks and then you're in a choke, or you need to run towards the 3rd base and then you're in a choke. What I'm getting at is no matter which way you go, you have to walk through a choke, which is not great for Roach Hydra all-ins. But if your opponent is rushing tech without building units, then maybe it can still work.
Yeah, let's see as Rolling Hydra will work its way up that left side, so already taking a few steps forward. Just going to be moving through for a couple of moments there and seeing what we can do. Actually going to see an Oracle go down, so we actually got a nice grab there. The Hydra's able to catch that. Obviously 2 split groups of units right now trying to get set up.
That Oracle had 2 stasis wards at the very least, almost 3, so that's a big catch, because that makes attacking a lot easier. This is the time where Reynor needs to deal damage. Tempests are already on the way. This is a perfect time to hit the natural. There's no slick defense yet. Hero moves there with everything, which means his left side army can now deal some damage. Good pick off on the gateway. And now the Stalkers are kind of walled off. They blink forward, and Hero now for the first time reacts to the left side, loses the next Oracle. The Templars are on a completely different path. Lings are in the main base. It's chaos everywhere.
Yep, Hero has to go and really just go deal with all of this right now, as already a lot of probes are going down, and as you get drawn in all these different directions, this is exactly where Reynor might be able to capitalize. Unfortunately, the Hydras on the front there on the natural just end up fighting cannons from afar, so that's not even all that ideal. The defense, I think, is being made. Reynor really unable to get anything else done outside of those few lings.
Yeah, he killed 13 workers, but that's not good enough, because Hero was a greedy boy. He has a great army now, and he will have Tempest out before the Lurker then will even be done. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being forced into a late game. There's not much else left for Reynor to do now than to start a Hive and then go into Lurkers and Aspire. But he'll still try to get some aggression out on the map with the 4 Overlord drops filled with Zerglings and then probably another multi-prong. But Hero's bases are super fortified now as well. He has so many cannons, so many stacked defense, which will make the defense of the multi-prong a lot easier.
Thing's going to try and grab a few Stalkers on the left again. The Stalker's going to get caught. Obviously should be able to at some point blink, and they blink up to the high ground as Reynor can't do much else, but that Ultra Cavern is coming through. So we're going to see Ultras taken to the stage, and that's going to be his Hive tech of choice for the next few months, which should leave you as Reynor on a pretty aggressive comp, right? Like, is this... I feel like this... I don't see how Ultras work well in this map. Do you have an idea, or...?
Yeah, it's bad on this map. I think it's just good against the army that Hero is making.
Okay.
So it will be mostly one surprise fight where the Ultras can shine if there's 0 Immortals. If Hero scouts it and he makes Immortals, this is an awful map for Ultras. You're 100% right.
Yeah. It's going to be weird to move them around, weird to get good positions on them at all. That's going to be rough. Couple of Adepts just going to be firing up. Queen going to take some damage. Couple of drones taking some damage as well, so a few more shots continue to fall. And Ling's going to drop back into the main base, so away we go.
Reynor ignoring the Tempest army, which I think is a good call. Fully sending it on a counter attack, running all of his units towards the fort base, forcing Hero to respond. Hero recalls, misses a good portion of his units, maybe now trying to surround Reynor's army in the middle of the map, but Reynor's army is very quick to respond. The Mothership is almost by itself. Storm! Storm! Okay.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
crazy for Reynor to engage there, because if Hero paid attention, he instantly time warped plus stormed. Those Hydras would all be dead. Now it was still a bad fight. He loses a lot of his Hydras, and Hero keeps pushing forward. The first Ultras are out, but those are +1 carapace Ultras without armor upgrades. They still should do well against the High Templars that are all face tanking the Ultras right now at the very front. He didn't manage to morph even a single Archon in there, but it doesn't really matter. There's no anti-air left.
Yep. There is nothing really at all to fight, so these Tempests just get to reign supreme. The Mothership can do a lot in this scenario as well, and that's exactly where we sit, as the army of Hero keeps pressing forward, and he looks to tie the series up 2-2 and to give us a game 5.
Yeah, cool stuff. Usually the difficult part is getting rid of the ground army. Reynor managed to do that with the mass Ultras, but Hydras don't beat Tempests.
Nope.
Like
Not really.
Hero doesn't even need to kite. He has more Tempests than there's Hydras on the map.
Yeah,
I
you can
really
just
don't think.
sit in an Aclick, right? Pretty much, as GG has to be called. Damn. There's no answer for what was a lot of Tempest, because he was building Tempest for such a long time as well, so it being to that count is not too surprising. And yeah, in the end, the Tempests are going to reign pretty supreme up in the skies, and that will be that to take us to a game 5. Same.
Insane. Exciting game there. It looked like Reynor had a chance at first when he hit before the cannons and stuff were there, but yeah. It's a very hard map to make this attack work. I think it's a very good map for lurker attacks, but not so much for these straight up attacks.
Yeah. Well, we are going to go into El Dorado for the final map here, so a fun map as one of these players will have their cup run end in this in the lower bracket right now. The other will get to go through to the lower bracket semis, plays the winner of Maxpax or Skillous. That will also be tomorrow. So, yeah, excited for whoever gets to advance here. If Hero wins, we're guaranteed a Protoss, Terran, and Zerg in the top 3. Balance.
That's
Achieved.
that is balance right there.
It is balance. So, yeah, El Dorado just coming up. Countdown's here. Who do you think has it based on the games you've seen?
Super 50-50. I would just go with my gut and say that Hero is a bit favored, but super 50-50. I mean, Hero, one of the games was a throw, but it was also a bad early game for Reynor, and one of the other games that Reynor lost was with a bad early game. This one, he had a fine early game. Game 1 was really super convincing. I mean, we've seen convincing games from both sides, so
Yeah.
I think it's close.
Close indeed, as we get into the final game of this series. So we are going to go and start ourselves off in the bottom right hand corner with the red Zerg player, which is Reynor.
And his opponent in the bottom left, representing Vibu Gaming or Vibu Gaming, it is Hero. Do you know how you're supposed to pronounce this team?
I have no idea. I say Weibo, but honestly, Weibo might be right as well. I actually don't know.
Okay. How? Oh, okay, no, that well makes sense. Okay, for a second I didn't see that there was a gap that he already left with the pylon, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be impossible to finish properly. But yeah, this well works.
And drop that spawn pool down, which is nice. Get that interplay. Pool before gas. Anything notable there?
Yeah, he went 15 hatch, so hatch before Overlord to make sure that he gets the hatchery down. When he had to play against Hero, he asked me what to do on this map. I told him to go gasless and take the bottom side. Then he didn't do it because he never did that before, so he said, okay, no, let me not do that. I'll just do what I usually do. And then right after, Cyril did exactly what I told him to do. And it worked wonders for Cyril, so I think now he copied it and he's going to try it himself.
Well, we'll see if that works out as the drone plays a nibbling game against the probe here. We go back and forth a little bit for just a few moments early on. Cybercore Nexus coming about, the Assimilator and the Pylon coming in as well. And take a few moments. Obviously, Stargate can come down in a moment here from Hero. And we can start to guess about what's going to happen.
Yeah, Reynor's taking topside again. He hasn't mined the gold minerals yet, which leads me to believe that he will in fact go for that top base. Hero instead mined the minerals to make sure that they're maybe get a sneaky block on that third base. I think it would have been a little bit too late, but the moment you see a 15 hatch, you are expecting the bottom side. The top side makes it a lot harder to defend. To be honest, but yeah, we'll see. Reynor won't have speed to work with for quite a while, and now the Adept arrived even before he took a third base, so this is uncommon. Now he's gonna take the bottom side anyways. He's just gonna take it super delayed. Very interesting.
Probe's gonna get to that bottom side to keep an eye on things, so as Reynor wants to move down here, he'll have to get a couple units over to push that probe away. And that Stargate about to finish. Oracle starts up from Hero. As that first a couple of Adepts will shade through the natural.
Yeah, there's 3 queens here, there's no way you can shade in there. And now he's gonna be surprised by the probe staying there. Very bad overlord movement, by the way, from Reynor. I have no idea why he has 3 overlords in front of his natural, not doing anything. Now he gets blocked, which there really should have been an overlord there. This early game is not good for Reynor. it's really not good. His third base is gonna be so late. And his Zerglings can't go deal with the pylon, otherwise the depth shade in. It's a very annoying situation for him.
Yeah, hefty delay. Plain and simple. As the drone continues through, the couple of Debs are going to keep on shading about. It's going to be seeing a couple of Queenslings gathering. Oracle is going to take a lot of shots. There's 3 Queens in range right away. Just a step towards that Oracle. He'll push it low, so 3 drones still go down. It's crazy.
Yeah, 1 drone was at the pylon. Trying to kill the pylon by itself, but it didn't succeed. Only killed half of its shields. And his probe is still spotting at the watchtower. It's a very awkward opening for Zerg. The biggest issue is not the drone con initially. It will be that now he's not mining properly with his workers. And then afterwards he's gonna have a lack of larva. That will be the biggest issue. He's messing Zerglings now, which makes a lot of sense. Because making drones right now, they wouldn't be mining properly and he would just be floating money. So messing Zerglings is the exact right step to take. You can try to deal some counter aggression, some counter damage. With our Zerglings, you can try to catch these Adepts. And he is pretty fortunate that, well, Hero lets that Shade finish, where it was not meant to finish. 100%. There's no way this was on purpose, but that he also made the Zerglings because Hero wanted to be aggressive with his own Adepts.
All things, like you say, can come counterattack. The Adepts already heading home. The 2 Oracles will try and find their way around the main base. Just going to be seeing not much to be found, though, so Oracles get denied. You know, now you've brought up these Oracles not doing as much anymore, I'm going to notice this like every game, like, huh, the Oracles really are more boring than they used to be.
They are more boring. They also die less because they just simply don't engage into Spark Crawlers anymore.
That's so funny. As the couple Lings will actually be doing a lot across the map. We get 3 probes out of this little counterattack that goes down, so some damage dealt. Ling's still trying to come back in, probe still taking damage. We'll get a full cleanup there eventually as the Adepts are going to shade through into the natural, towards the main base even. And, yeah, not going to be able to commit to that one. But yeah, Oracle's going to activate for the upper right base, looking for the cancel here. And there's no way to get extra health on the hatch or anything, so no way to push the Oracles back either. So that's a cancel, a kill even on the 4th. This is, again, still not pretty for Reynor at all.
Yeah, that was terrible. Not canceling there is very bad for him. So things are going from bad to worse. The one good thing is that Hero did make a lot of Adepts, which are not too bad for him because he had the early Zerglings anyways. So the extra Stalker pressure is gonna hit a little bit later. Also, he already has the bottom mine, so he can take this as an extra base. Now the Orcs are gonna try to cancel it once again. The 3rd Oracle doesn't have energy, so he won't have the burst damage to work through that extra HP.
Oracles move back over towards the natural. Queen is going to push the Oracles away. The few Zerglings still gathering together. +1 and Blink about to be done. So here we'll have the option to bring Stalkers onto the map as Reynor just makes his way straight through to the Infestation Pit. And so Infestation Pit tech, Hive tech, etc. will start to come online over the next few minutes.
Yeah, Reynor's playing straight Ultra. He's playing massive Zergling into Ultra. If there is a Templar Archives, Hero realizes this, he can kill him with Charged Icon Stalker, 100%. But it is not that easy for Hero to notice. He might simply realize if he plays a lot of Zerg himself that this is way too many hatcheries. You're not supposed to make this many hatcheries as Zerg. But yeah, Reynor has no tech structures. He has no Roachborn. He's relying purely on these Zerglings, and Zerglings are pretty decent against Stalkers. Hero blinks all of them forward. Loses a lot of Stalkers there. That was a big mistake. He could have blinked them back one by one, just the low HP Stalkers. I don't know why he had to blink them into the Zerglings there. That had no business being such a good trade for Reynor, who's now going to try to, once again, multi-prong with the Overlord drops. He's actually not going into Ultras, he's going Ling Lurker with a low gas. So it will be just Zerglings and then a couple of Lurkers as the follow-up, as Hero's going into Double Robo Colossus delayed. Also interesting.
Well, we have the drop wall's going to be spotted by these Oracles, so they're not going to be able to do too much just yet. Let's just have the couple of drones continue to come about. Robo Facility, Robo Bay coming online here from Hero, so yeah, just going to get his tech up, and Reynor will have a chance at least to see the Lurkers coming online.
Reynor's spot in this game is not bad anymore. I think it was bad initially, but because of the tech choices that Hero made, because of how passive he was, because of that recall, it's now quite good for him. He basically gambled on this not being any form of charged icon attack, and that gamble paid off massively. And now he found himself in a position where he actually is the one that has map control, because he has way more Zerglings than he ever was supposed to be being able to build. I don't know why there's 29 workers. This hatchery is also misplaced, so he should realistically pull workers off that base, if anything.
Well, our drop lord is going to unload a few Lings over the gold minerals, and we're just going to see Reynor has been very active with these Ling counters and these Ling drops. throughout the series and looking to see even more success with them right now as he runs into this mineral line and a few probes begin to drop straight away. 4 workers going down already. And yeah, just going to be very successful there as the rest of the Lings split up. Hydra's joining in the fray on that right-hand side. Darkshrine halfway through as well from Hero as he gets more options available for himself, and those couple oracles still lingering to see if there's any opportunities.
Yeah, this game went from very good for Hero to very bad for him. He's too afraid to do anything right now. He's double upgrading his army, but he's not making extra workers. He's not taking gases at his fort base. I'm not even sure he realized how many workers Reynor is at, because he went up to 90 workers. And whenever Hero checks the one base, there's no gas there and no workers, but it's simply because Reynor has 5 other bases that he has saturated, so he doesn't really need to mine too much from that base. And lurkers should be good theoretically against what Hero has as well. It's important for Hero to be on the map, because if he lets the lurkers start sieging his base, then he's in trouble, since he's still very stalker heavy. The strength of Hero's army is that he can be in the center of the map, and he can keep the lurkers from safely getting towards his side of the map. So he really needs to move out very, very soon if he wants to have a chance at winning this game.
The Colossus now gathered with that army. There's more drop lords going, so Reynor has intentions to find some aggression across the map some way, somehow. He will set those up. Link drops are heading to the bottom. Hero is already taking some steps across the map himself, though. As he revelates here, you'll see the lurkers. He will see what he's working against. He is also going to see the Lings on the top right-hand side as the Stalkers join up. He can pick a fight, and right now the lurkers are still nowhere near position to protect the top right base, at least. So Hero going to get a good spot, and Reynor is now having to basically just give up the top right.
Yeah, I think you give up the top right. You even stop mining from this base, but you need to counterattack with all of your Zerglings. I think the Zerglings have no business being on this side of the map. You defend with pure lurker, because Hero's army just can't engage into lurkers. And you counterattack with all your links. You have the job running into the main base of Hero. And yeah, that's... Reynor realized as well. Huge stasis ward though.
Yeah, massive stasis as we are going to try and push our way down here. Actually going to blink in. There's only 3 lurkers in this position, so we get rid of all 3 with the Stalkers. Now the rest of the lurkers have to come across, but they're going to be quite far back, so this hatchery will take some damage. The drop in your main base, as you mentioned, is going to be going. It's going to force a recall. It's actually a big recall as well. A lot of units going to come back for that. A couple Lings elsewhere as well. So all the Lings will go down from the main. Lings in the center going down too. I mean, the big win for Reynor is that he forced Hero to go back home. This is a Hero who's now building carriers and a mothership. I mean, is Reynor still on a massive timer?
Yeah, that's not great for Reynor. I mean, if you have a Spire, it might be possible, but yeah, now Reynor is the one that should be the one on the aggressive. The one good thing for Reynor there was also that Hero misrallied the rest of the units that were not recalled, so he lost like 30 supply worth of units to the lurkers. But aside from that, I mean, the moment the carries are out, there's just no anti-air. Reynor doesn't have the gas to produce Corruptors, and he doesn't even have a Spire.
Yeah, these Lings are going to get into this mineral line though, and they're going to get a whole bunch more probes. The lurkers actually in position at least to do some work, and you mentioned that obviously Hero's army has no way to fight lurkers right now. There it is in, you know, just being put into example as we are going to get rid of one of the Stargates, so one of the carriers will not come out either. Still got a couple of Lings just here and there, everywhere else as well. The game is in utter chaos, and Reynor getting rid of that forward 4th base. He's starting to deal with the Zealot counterattack too, so he's starting to play clean up there. I'll take a few more Lings still, but he's putting it into work, man. It's kind of starting to look like he can do it, especially because now Hero only has 22 remaining probes.
Yeah, now Hero's all in, but Hero's army is better than Reynor's. Reynor will need to go back. Hero should engage with the carrier. I don't know what... Oh, he's doing it back for the Zergling run by. Hero is now the one on the timer. Theoretically, if Reynor makes a couple of spores, he should be fine with the lurkers at home, but he needs to bring those lurkers back home first for me to make that call. As now they are on Burrow, the Zealots are trying to flank. The Oracles are also above, and all of the lurkers are burrowing. I think you fight this as Hero.
Yep.
Lift some of the Zealots. Good time warp, good fight. He catches all of the lurkers. That is huge. And his army right now is pretty scary still. He has so much gas, which he uses up all of which now to warp in extra Archons. He lost his detection, so that one lurker is still going ham.
Yeah, one lurker left over, but he's going to push down the bottom side. Now there's just not that much really here for Reynor at all, with a few lurkers on the way back up, trying to reproduce some of those after losing so many to the middle of the map. We're going to get rid of a hatchery here, and what does Hero want to do? He's going to pull back to the center again. And they're going to see more Lings counterattack. I mean, we already know Hero is all in. Reynol's just going to double down on making sure that's the case. There's one lurker. Hero is going to have a revelation. We'll finally get rid of that from just dealing some chip damage throughout the course of Hero moving around. And Hero is going to get ready to basically push in to try and find victory. Spore Crawl's unburrowed. Some of the lurkers still not fully burrowed either. So we are going to be a little bit careful, trying to let the Colossus do their thing before we just commit a ramp into the lurkers.
I think he needs to split up his army better. That's a good move in the bottom with the Immortals. One Oracle is still there for the revelation. He's still F2ing it forward now. All the Oracles are really dead.
Yeah, now he's no detection.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Defense is made, and Reynor is looking like he might survive the lower bracket for another round as Hero crumbles again, right? I mean, a couple of games in this series where Hero just completely crumbles later as the game goes on. Kind of fascinating the way he dies.
I'm gonna rewind this game. I'm pretty sure this game was also not supposed to be ever a win for Reynor from the position that Hero's in. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can believe that up to 100% as Hero just did not want to win. I don't know what to say. Like, he just made a lot of mistakes, and you're playing at a level where even if you're ahead, mistakes are going to cost you heavily, and that's exactly what we've been saying.
Yeah, I wonder if he could have even won the last fight if he went from if he split his army and then went from bottom and center, because a lot of Reynor's army supply was still Zerglings, which Hero's army was actually really good against. I think at that point it might not be the easiest to win the game anymore, but he could have done it better than he ended up doing. He also, I mean, you can see his restriction is the F2. The Oracles always fly forward every single time. Every single time he A moves.
Yeah. I mean, they just donate themselves repeatedly.
Yeah.
Rough as we do have the attempt to move forward here from Hero. I mean, a lot of Corruptors now are going to abduct a Colossus, and we should be able to finish that. Apparently not, but we just got some more energy on these Vipers, and we can play abducts for days against each of these units, so give us some time. The Lurker's going to reposition. We actually have a DT showing up. There is a Lurker here, and there is Spores, so this is not a problem. Reynor will maintain this base. Might lose a couple of drones, but that's not an issue in the grand scheme of things. As obviously Hero on the bottom side is in position to try and force Reynor to fight, basically, and Reynor will just take his time about it.
Yep. He doesn't need to hold the base. He knows his opponent is on his original 3 bases. Very low in workers as well. Hero is reprobing. He wants to make this a macro game somehow.
Yeah, well, Reynor's not going to let that happen because he's going to engage into this. Going to drop the Time Warp, but the Corruptors at least will get a couple of units up in the sky already. And it's already pretty disastrous. Parasitic Bomb is still ticking away. We just about pull the Colossus out of there, as the Mothership will survive too, but Reynor is not silly. He knows that those units are low, and so he's going to go hunting with the Corruptors, and now Recall isn't available as a getaway. There's only a couple of units of anti-air here, so there goes the Mothership, here goes the Colossus, here goes everything basically. A couple of Archons will be left on the ground with some Zealots, but that ain't going to do anything against the Lurker force that's coming.
Yep. These are unupgraded Lurkers. Like, Hero had 2-1 upgraded ground units, and he lost the game against like a straight up 13 unupgraded Lurker push. I'll rewind and check that fight, because yeah, I mean,
yeah, not really.
I'm not even sure what to say. I don't know why Hero he's getting up carriers. His opponent obviously doesn't have anti-air. He doesn't know how poor his opponent is or something like that. Like, I understand that he wants to take the fight, but please take extra 5 seconds to come from multiple directions against Lurkers. And then the fight will go way better. Also, the moment you start the fight, at least fully commit to it. I think he would have won that fight if he committed to it. If he keeps microing his units, he just would have won. He ran into the army, killed nothing, walked back and lost like 80% of his ground army there. It's actually crazy. While also losing his entire 3rd base and main base. That was a cool sequence of attacks for Reynor, so let's give credit where it's due. Always takes 2 to tango. And you always need your opponent to make a mistake to come back, but Reynor also with a very good multi-prong. Making that happen to begin with.
Kind of just a crazy sequence of events, to be honest. You get to the result that we got to. Crazy things is that's going to be that, and that does wrap up as EVP in this lower bracket, leaving us with Maxpax versus Skillous for the rest of the day. you doing the PvP as well, or are you dipping out?
I'll do the PvP as well. Why not?
Nice. Alright, so yeah, Maxpax Skillous coming up. Diving into that in a few moments. As soon as they figure out videos and everything. Do you think Skillous has a good shot to take down Maxpax? I mean, Maxpax feels very beatable in PvP lately.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does have a chance. They played previously, and I think Skillous had some cool build orders where he opens up with something that looks like a 1-gate, and then he just plays 3-gate Robo as well. A series in which he lost 1-2, but honestly, he could have won that series. So Maxpax definitely doesn't look as solid anymore in that matchup. He repeatedly gets specifically nerfed, I feel like.
Yeah.
As well. So, yeah. He also lost to Trigger recently, I believe. Right?
Skillous?
He lost in the Monday Cup. Maxpax, that is, I think.
Oh yeah. I didn't see. Yeah, oh yeah, he must have done because Trigger got the finals. Yeah, that does make sense.
I think first he won against Trigger 2-1, and then in the lower bracket he lost 2-1. So, or maybe just lost 1-0 or something. I think maybe the lower bracket was best of ones. But he must have lost against him at some point. And obviously he also lost a game to my Protoss on the ladder. So there's that as well. Given that Harrison told me what to do during that game as well, so it's not entirely fair.
Not entirely fair.
The chat saying nice humble break. That was not humble at all. That was just a straight up break.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think Maxpax always has the way he wants to defend, and that can be predictable. And then the moment it doesn't work, he then changes it. So it's very interesting for me watching his PvPs. Like Harrison could tell me exactly where his first probe would go and where his first zealot would go, so I knew where exactly to proxy the gateway. And then he didn't scout the gateway on time, and then it was quite easy to execute and kill him. So if you know exactly what the defense of your opponent is, maybe right now, it's not that easy to hold your expansion with 1-gate expand. And yeah, I saw him lose a couple of games to simple proxy robo proxy gateway.
Yeah, I think the way I remember Harsum explained it is just that now Maxpax can't do the same thing every game and defend everything. So now he has to gamble if he wants to do the faster expands, and so some builds will just have an advantage, which was not the case before. So it puts him in a place where he can't just consistently get to the mid game in an okay place. So pretty big nerf to Maxpax, taking away his battery overcharge for PvP. I'm going to play Ultralove, Amygdala, Leylines, Eldorado, and King's Cove. That's the map order. I've vetoed up, so we should be hosting fairly soon.
Reynor lost the series and he said it's 4-1 for Hero.
Sounds about right, man.
I think that feels even better though, if you win games where you're not supposed to win. In such a close series, I can tell you from my own experience, whenever I had deep tournament runs, usually they would always be 3-0s. But it felt by far the best the one time I actually had a 3-2 win. Like I had one deep run where I had 3-2s over good players, and it felt so much better than winning 3-0s. Even if you also beat good players in the 3-0s, the close series, they just feel way better. Because there is more tension built up throughout the series, and yeah.
Alright. Well, Maxpax is ready. Skillous just needs to race switch, and we should be good to go into this PvP. Everyone joins our lobby. We get ready to kick off into our second and last best of 5 today. Skillous versus Maxpax.
Chat is asking me my thoughts on Bayern against Rotterdam. So, Wardy, did you know had a couple bets with Rotterdam at EWC for who's gonna win, and Rotti lost the first bet. Then he wanted to take a second bet, which was not in his favor as well, double or nothing. So it was double, and then he wanted another double or nothing for Rotterdam against Bayern, which is very favored for Bayern as well. And then they played 2 days ago, and Rotterdam had three shots, I believe, in the entire game. They had 3 shots on target, and Bayern had like 20 or something, maybe even more. What do you think the game ended?
Yeah, I looked it up already.
Okay, it was 3-0 for Rotterdam. I couldn't believe it.
3-0, 8 shots through on target versus 30 and 6 on target. 20% possession, like just completely outplayed.
It was actually crazy. I mean, it just some of these nights it's just not meant to happen.
That is.
But it's okay.
That is wild.
I mean, he was very happy. And it made me feel better because usually I would be pissed for Bayern losing Champions League, but at least I knew Rotti was happy somewhere in the world. And that kind of made my night.
No, that's some crazy stats.
At the same time, if instead of doing double or nothing bet for me, which is just a normal 50-50 odds, if he put on a betting site that Rotterdam was going to win, he would have won way more money.
Well, you think he didn't?
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know, actually.
It's Roddy, man. Like,
yeah, it's possible.
That might be too mainstream of a matchup for him to bet on.
Yeah, it's not quite the third Peruvian league.
Yeah. 2 minutes, apparently, so we have a moment or two. So, so windy outside today. We have a storm.
Oh, that's...
I can.
Yeah, Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I literally just looked outside and I can see like the lamppost outside is literally like waving.
Oh, damn, so it's a big storm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty mad. Here it's just cold, but without any wind. So it's not that bad to go outside, but if I walk the dogs in the forest, it's a lot of frozen ground, so it's a lot of ice.
Yeah.
I came back from the holiday and I could legitimately ice skate in the forest. Like I could have brought my ice skates and went there to ice skate while walking the dogs, which is also a vibe, I have to say.
That's wild. Yeah. I'm now absolutely convinced this lamppost is gonna fall over. I see it wobbling in the wind. Alright. We're in some PvP though, so another best of 5 here as we see who will survive the lower bracket. In the bottom left, getting knocked down here after an epic series yesterday against Cyril, we have the Blue Protoss player, Maxpax.
And as opponent representing Team Liquid, it is Skillous. Already interesting to see that they are playing Ultralav, a map where you have a ramp leading into your natural, so that's one of the maps where you would think it's safer to go for the 1-gate expansions, but without the overcharge, even on those maps, there's some tricks you can do. You can also try to go for fake proxy. I mean, there is so much. It's the difficulty for Maxpax is to be ahead in every scenario. He needs to be able to defend a potential proxy gateway. He needs to be able to be even against a potential proxy Stargate into a simple Nexus. Where the other guys could hide their Nexus and pretend to be all-inning. They could be going for a straight up War Prism with 2 adapts inside very early. There's a lot of things that he needs to keep an eye out for. And Skillous is just going to block Maxpax's base. So he's actually playing 2-gate but with a block. And Maxpax is going to play... he's going to get a second gas up, he's going to get a cyber core up, probably going to make a zealot and just go 1-gate, Stargate before Nexus.
1-gate, Stargate, before Nexus. Yep, very typical way of playing from Maxpax, so see what he does. Skillous is definitely not afraid to try and, mix it up and get some all-ins against Maxpax, but he's not had a lot of luck against him recently. I actually feel like Maxpax, like I say, has had some vulnerable PvP, but then he's just 2-0'd Skillous every time that they've played the last few times, so that's an interesting note, as we do have our cyber cores coming through, the gateways coming up. See how this plays out as Maxpax readies himself to get a structure in the front there as the cyber core finishes.
Yeah, good block so far from Skillous as well. His probe is still full on HP. So Maxpax knows he will need to get up that Adept and that Stargate before the Nexus. Maxpax's probe is actually quite low on HP. Skillous didn't decide to block it in. You can also try to block it in. Go Sentry first. Get a quicker Nexus yourself. Skillous just opting to go for a standard himself instead. And trying to block his opponent's base to have a similar Nexus timing.
Okay, is about finished. Nexus starting. And yeah, we'll see how Maxpax can do with this Stargate so we can have some aggression on the map. Both players going to get the Nexus about the same time, so Skillous, I always look at this, I mean, yes, you get Stalker and a Sentry, he's going to poke with those a little bit, he's going to get 2 more Sentries as well. This really comes down to what do you prefer, like 3 Sentries, or do you prefer having the Oracle control? Because the Nexus timing is the same. I always feel like, I mean, I guess it depends how well the opponent deals with the Oracle, because obviously the Oracle, if it gets defended well, is not going to do much. I always feel like there's so much potential with the Oracle at this point in time.
Yeah, I prefer, like in an even game where the worker counts are similar, if you don't net this army lead into something more, I always prefer having the Oracle. But because of how scared Maxpax is playing, or because of how safe he's playing rather than scared, he's already down in workers, so I think it's not looking too bad for Skillous, who doesn't even need to block the Adepts out yet, since he has enough units to defend the Adepts plus the Oracle. Good hallucination on top of the Oracle as well. Means that yeah, he's gonna have consistent vision on these Oracles. He should be able to defend quite nicely, keeping his worker lead for a little bit longer.
Yep. Warpgate is about to finish up. A couple Stalkers will take some shots. And you have the Sentries are going to be there. Drop a Force will try and catch the Zealot. Hallucination tracks the Oracle. And just Maxpax taking the Twilight Council, which later than his opponent's skills will have that in his favor. That Blink starting already. One Adept here is actually going to go for a couple of probes, so Maxpax able to slip that in and get some pretty nice damage done.
Yeah, he also accidentally pulled back the hallucination, so now he doesn't have vision on the Oracle anymore. I think already now I prefer Skillous, Maxpax's position a little bit, even though his blink is quite a bit later.
Yeah. Nice to, I mean, blink being later doesn't matter so much if you end up playing defensively a lot of the time. Like, if you're playing defensively on 2 bases, you can usually handle that, so yeah, to take a little bit of a worker lead and still have the Oracle control feels pretty great as the gateway is coming online.
Yeah, the biggest deal about these Oracles is if you have 2, you can't defend it with just leaving a shield battery at home, so you need to keep Stalkers in both bases, usually. So you need to have Stalkers in the main, Stalkers in the natural, and then your opponent already has more Stalkers on his own side of the map. So trying to attack against someone that has 2 Oracles is not that simple, even though the blink is quicker. Moving out is quite an issue, as well as the mass stasis ward spam that is possible. So just messing stasis wards, you don't know where they are, they can freeze your Stalkers, can go south very quickly as there's an extra stasis ward in the main base. Catches 5 workers somehow, I have no idea how the gas probes there got clipped. Pretty crazy.
Stasis ward's always work in weird ways. I swear some of them just do way more than I ever expect them to be honest. Yeah, some Stalkers still just moving around a little bit. Forges on the way up. Nexus coming down on both sides of the map, and as Blink finishes, we're going to even up that kind of stage of the upgrades, and there really is just so much control out of these Oracles. They are doing so much right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have Guardian Shield or anything like that, but I also don't think he does need that type of stuff. And extra advantage that he gets is he doesn't need a Robo for detection. Kills 1 Sentry, loses a Stalker though for it. Good offensive blink forward by Skillous, blinking forward the first Stalker to trigger the Stasis Ward and then blinking afterwards with the rest of the Stalkers. To force a trade there, I think he's happy to give up a Sentry for a Stalker at this stage.
Well, Stalkers keep gathering. Let's just have the gates building on the side of Maxpax. The next is about to finish from Skillous. And we just have a 3 base set up from both here. I mean, I still just, I mean, it's so hard to disagree with just how good Oracles are. I mean, you're going to have Stasis Wards throughout the game now as well, so you can always use that to your advantage. It's something that Skillous has to play around that Maxpax can just completely ignore, you know? So, such a huge bonus there as well. And it means that a game like this, where it looks like all the numbers look very even, the timings of everything look even, it just isn't really even, because 2 Oracles are just that good versus... yes, Guardian Shield obviously is very useful as well, but I mean, even here we're not even fighting in Guardian Shield for the whole time.
Yeah. I also think he should use the energy recharge on cooldown. He's been pretty good about it so far. I just keep Maxpax's Nexus selected to see whenever he has it on cooldown again, so he can use it on the Oracles for extra stasis wards. But so far he's just being active. He now adds a late Drobo. He's quicker to the forward base, and I mean, Skillous is still in a fine position, right? So the supply is looking good. Really, realistically, the only advantage that Maxpax has are the Oracles, but you can see that snowballing into some extra smaller advantages, like the quicker Nexus. The map control is a big one, where Skillous is completely blind, whereas Maxpax would see his opponent move out and can take free trades on the other side of the map.
Guardian Shield pops up, our Stalkers move around, still got our +2 attack and charge on the way. 6 additional Zealots coming through at the moment here. And as obviously the Zealot count starts to get going, that charge slightly faster for Maxpax. We'll see if that affects this game at all. The Zealots currently warping in from the other side, so they take a while to get there. 2 Adepts get into a mineral line again, and the cannon can mostly defend, but there's still a couple of edges those Adepts can hit on and get some workers killed. So 4 workers going down again. Maxpax the one making the moves right now and getting the damage done.
Yeah, Skillous still has some Stalkers in his main and his natural, which means he doesn't have that much at the front. And this fort base is very hard to defend. Maxpax keeps poking there. The Zealots now know how much defense Skillous has in the natural. It's exactly 1 cannon, and Maxpax used 2 full warpins to gather all the Zealots, and now he's going to use them to counterattack at the same time as the Stalkers are pressuring forward to try and get a kill on the fort base.
Absolutely, the Stalkers pulling back, force field going down. A couple of Zealots can move about as well. We go back and forth. Zealot going to get grabbed, and just see these Stalkers continue to try and trade. The Stalkers could potentially go chasing after, but that's exactly what Maxpax wants because of the Stasis Ward. That Stasis Ward does go down, but the Zealot's just causing trouble and definitely forcing Skillous to look around different places. Links forward there and only gets 2 Stalkers caught in that Stasis. And, yeah, like I say, still the Zealot's been a big story in this game.
Maxpax now going up to a 5th base. Maxpax simply has way more workers than Skillous at this point, so unless Skillous trades very cost effectively, he's in some trouble. Skillous now has the supply lead. He's up 20 army supply as well, so he has the better army, but his forge actually was unpowered with that Zealot run by as well. He's now trying to swarm Maxpax's army, trying to come from all the angles, but Maxpax has the retreat open towards the left side, where he can clear a lot of Zealots and he's not really losing too much himself, evening up the supply a little bit.
Yeah, a couple of Zealots still going after the probes. The list to attack about to finish. Dark Shrine and Gates coming through as well. Skillous is chasing down, and again with a couple of his own Zealots doing work, getting some value out of this. His own Prism can set up for reinforcements. Maxpax will take a step towards the Dark Shrine, which is obviously a great harassing kind of technique as this game develops further. So a Dark Shrine coming online, that's going to do a lot for you. However, Maxpax, this base down here, is in some trouble. He's going to have to come up to fight this. And blinking after this army, Skillous' army looks absolutely huge in this moment.
It does look huge. The army supplies are still very even, but that Zealot run by is huge. There's nothing in Skillous' own 3rd base, which means he's committed to run in here. And with a good Stalker concave, the question is, does Skillous have enough to power through? Maxpax is blinking all his Stalkers back, which means that there is some opportunity here. No more Zealots are alive. I think Skillous is super committed. He definitely wants to blink forward at any moment now.
Yeah, just push the issue. I mean,
yeah, and he's blinking forward. He's trying to get the concave, but it might be a little bit too late. There's still a lot of stasis wards to fall back to. One more Zealot warp in from Skillous to try and make this defense even higher. A lot of Stalkers of Maxpax are getting caught, but Skillous lost 15 workers on the back of this, so he needs to get even more damage done. The question is, can his army snowball?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, I think, because at this point Maxpax, I think, sees as well that he's done pretty much enough across the map. And there's also a world where right now, I mean, Dark Shrine, we could actually just warp in ADT, and this would be huge as well, because there's no detection on this army of Skillous, so a DT would just force this away for the moment, and that would be huge. Of course, do you want to reveal your DT in that way? Would you rather send the DTs across the map first? I mean, there's undetectable bases right now for Skillous back at home, so that's definitely a factor. As we do have the army of Maxpax moving out. Skillous did add an observer in, by the way, so we do have that now brought up. So you just have some detection at least as Maxpax takes a step forward, but Still Skillous with a sizable army.
Yeah, I like the way he's using the DTs. One towards the third base, one towards the fourth. As you said, there is no detection there. No cannons are alive. And this is a huge issue for Skillous, who now has to decide, do I go back while I'm already down 20 workers, or do I press the issue and try to somehow defend at home with the extra observers? Even once again, if he kills that base, I don't think it's enough damage. And as long as Maxpax can kite back towards the stasis wards, I'm not sure that Skillous can just run at his army.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Stasis wards keep catching. It's actually going to be Maxpax, who has just way more right now. He could blink forwards, he could get rid of the Prism even, and he's going to go straight to that. Prism will go down. The Stalkers blink back defensively, but they're going to get chased, and Maxpax pulls off the defense, which was really made possible for him by just having a whole bunch of aggression out on the map as well. Those Zealots counterattacking did so much multiple times, and in the end, the DTs really put a nail in the coffin that forced Skillous to make one final shove.
Close game though. Skillous definitely had his moments there.
Yeah.
He had a much better army as he was attacking Maxpax's initial forward base. If he was maybe a little bit better defensively set up, he could have been in a very good spot there. So, I mean, I think Skillous is still gonna go for a bunch of cheese. I don't think he's gonna play like this every game, but we'll see. This was also the one game where there is a very clean ramp leading into the natural, so probably one of the harder maps to kill Maxpax on if you try to do something fancy in the early game.
We'll see if Amygdala gives Skillous some more options early, as that will be map number 2 here. With Maxpax taking the 1-0 lead, like you say, definitely opportunities though from Skillous. Definitely moments where it felt like he had some chances where he could maybe try and get something done. Just didn't pan out for him in the end as we load into Amygdala now for this game 2.
I'll eat a small granola bar so you can carry the intros.
Sure. All good. I'll just wait for us to load because we're stuck on a loading screen. But we're going to get into it now. So, into game number 2, I'm going to start with the man who has found himself the 1-0 advantage in this best of 5. Taking the lead off of, again, solid defense combined with some good counterattacking. It is going to be our Blue Protoss player, Maxpax. Here on Amygdala may be a bit trickier for him because this low ground natural area, which he oftentimes likes to obviously expand too quickly, has no ramp up into it, so maybe that is an option for Skillous, our red Protoss in the bottom left from Team Liquid, to take advantage of as this game settles into play. Pylons coming up, and it's a high ground pylon from both here, as Maxpax is not afraid if he feels like it's difficult to defend natural. He's not afraid to just high ground gateway nowadays, and to play from there, rather than always forcing the low ground gate, which was definitely his motto in the past. Probe Scout will be first from Maxpax as well, so he sends this straight out onto the map, as Skillous will not send anything on the map just yet, so we'll take a few more moments. There's double gases. Let's see the second gateway coming down from Skillous in a second, so there's a second gate from him. Unsurprisingly, Maxpax not making a move to go into that second gateway, so it's just going to be playing the one gate, like I say, expected, just playing it on the high ground, so you're a little bit safer. Your production is up on that high ground. You can fall back to it more comfortably, depending on the build that comes your way if your opponent tries to be aggressive, so just a little bit safer overall, and that can help you out a lot, as the scout from Skillous will reveal that Maxpax is on one gateway in the next few moments, and you can start to make some plays based on that here too. As that probe gets straight in, ends up building up, cybercores on the way, gateway producing for the moment.
Yeah, interesting to notice that since this patch, maybe already since the previous patch, Maxpax on these maps where you don't have a proper ramp into your natural, he is going for the cybercore before Nexus always. And he's not simply going for a normal one gate expand anymore. As Skillous didn't go for a blind proxy or anything like that, he's going to try to block Maxpax aside and maybe play a little bit more normal against Maxpax's one gate expand style, which I wouldn't hate it. Maybe he can get some pressure done with just 4 simple stalkers, not much more, Nexus behind it, maybe even later pressure with 4 stalkers, 2 sentries, or even the first 8 gateway units. I think there is some variety that you have with just how many gateway units you make and how aggressive you want to be with them in the early game against the split.
Nexus Stalker. Warp Gate coming up. Yeah, I mean, Skill's just gonna match Maxpax with the Nexus, which I really just can't get over, like, just how good the Oracle is gonna be again. I mean, the Oracles do so much, from forcing units to stay at home to the stasis wards later. I mean, like I say, the sentries are good too, but man, it's hard to argue that these Oracles aren't just doing absolute work lately.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be different. I think Skillous is going to move out with his first 6 units, 1 shield battery at home, and it's going to apply pressure with the Stalker sentry. So I think we're going to see a very different game. Oh, did that pylon get scouted? It didn't. Perfect pylon placement, actually, to barely not get scouted there. So that is cool, and that's exactly what I talked about. He went for 6 gateway units before Warp Gate, and then he's going to warp in 2 extra units on the other side of the map. So he's going to have exactly 8 gateway units, and pressure Maxpax is natural. And Maxpax didn't go for a super early second gate. He also went double Oracle. So he doesn't have many units, and he only has 1 battery. He didn't use recharge yet, so he can recharge that battery, but no clue what that force field was, by the way. But that those traits should favor Skillous here on this side of the map.
Yeah, the Oracle taking a couple of shots as he does get out. Maxpax is going to recharge the battery to try and get a little bit more survivability, as he really could do with just some extra warp-ins. Hits the sentry a couple of times right here as well. Now going to pull back as the Stalkers of Skillous continue to push in. A couple of the Stalkers of Maxpax pulling away nicely, doing a good job there. The Zealot will get taken down as well. The Adept returns home. I'm actually going to start pulling some probes. That's a good force field. Just separates the probes away from the Stalkers. So that's basically a probe donation. However, we're about to have more batteries coming up. A Void Ray coming through too. We're getting to a point where this might be defendable for Skillous. For Maxpax, sorry. He gets a few workers on the other side of the map as well. He is still losing units. Stalkers keep going down here, and Skillous' attack is looking still very scary. There's a lot of units here, still 6 Stalkers, and he keeps turning and getting so many units without losing anything.
Yeah. The worker counts are equalized. The Oracles were defended on his own side of the map. He even started Blink behind us already. The first Void Ray is out now. I think you can dive that.
Yeah, I think
or at least force it to back off. It's only 1 Void Ray and 1 Stalker defensively. The second gateway now is done for Maxpax, but he doesn't even have money to go for extra warp-ins. I don't think Skillous even necessarily needs to pull the trigger here. He can, if he wants to, wait for a blink, and I think he should be in a very good position.
Well, I recall the Stalkers, but it will be onto the natural, so we'll actually be able to maybe intercept those Oracles a little bit. They're going to recall as well. Obviously no blink here, but we will kill one of the Oracles. That's huge. Mentioned the idea of there being 2 Oracles, right? And if there's 2, they're so threatening because batteries don't defend. Against 1, battery does defend unless it's a stasis ward, but you can't lose probes to 1 Oracle, so that's huge, and it means less stasis wards defensively, so Maxpax gets into an even worse spot. He'll try and come through for this forward pylon, but I mean, the blink is about to be done, and it's going to be extremely tough for Maxpax to stand up against blink.
Yes, Maxpax knows he's in a bad spot. He's going for a Dark Shrine himself. Skillous already has a Robo started, and he scouts the Dark Shrine right away. So, once again, that's another thing that is going well here for Nikita, who's definitely in a sizable advantage here on Amygdala, as Maxpax even hits another supply block. Things are going from bad to worse. It's funny because, yeah, okay, he scouts, his blink is done, and he just GG's out.
Okay. I mean, he was dead, so...
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad spot.
Yeah, very, very rough position. And so Maxpax taps out, and Skillous gets a map win, which is more than he's been able to find against Maxpax the last 4 times they've played. So it's a little bit of progress for Skillous here, getting a map. 2 to go, though, to continue to the next round of this lower bracket and stay in the tournament.
Yeah, cool mix-up. I like the aggression option. The option of aggression that he chose to go for there, with just getting as many gateway units out as possible. He delayed his own Nexus in favor of that aggression, and he knew exactly how to defend, and also like he balanced out his defense and his aggression quite well with how many units he kept at home. Then when he saw the Oracle is on the other side of the map, he says, okay, then I will move out. Then the first time where he had nothing at home, when 2 Oracles were on his side of the map, he recalled, he ran the probes away, but the second Oracle didn't actually have energy, so he couldn't have out DPS the shield battery. I think he had 30 energy, so it would have maybe been able to kill 2 extra workers, but yeah. Just good preparation there from Skillous, good build order, and also very good execution, where he didn't make any micro errors on the other side of the map while still defending the Oracles.
Alright. Well, we get into Ley lines then for game number 3. And we'll see another map here that has that no ramp into the natural areas, so we'll see what Maxpax's approach there will be. Skillous definitely came in and made use of that on Amygdala. It really did just come in with a lot of units. Showed us why the force fields and the sentries can be so good as well. In this case, they really paid for themselves. Multiple great force fields to block a single Stalker away or to trap a few probes away from a Stalker as well. Definitely helping as we get to the top right with Maxpax at Blue Protoss.
And in the bottom left, the man who just won the last map, it is Skillous.
Maxpax sends his probe out early. It is high ground gateway from him. So, no surprises very much so following the pattern of the last game for the first few minutes at least.
Skillous also going for an earlier scout once again here. Wanting to make sure that Maxpax doesn't get the quick Nexus out. And he's going to follow it up with a normal 2-gate opening once again, I think. Yeah, second gate on the way. So, very standard approach from Skillous. Once again, no proxy. So he is not trying to do any proxy robo or any 3-gate, 4-gate, anything like that. No proxy Stargate. He's actually just playing relatively standard, relatively solid against what Maxpax has to offer, which is something that not a lot of Protosses even attempt, right?
Yeah. Completely different. That's the beauty of it. As our probe takes some nibbles, Maxpax will start the Zealot in case of necessity. We can go from there.
Yep. Yeah, the first thing we gotta watch out for is what the 2 units are that Skillous will start. Will it be Stalker Sentry? Stalker was his choice last game. It will be Stalker Sentry, so... No, he cancels the Sentry and starts the second Stalker. So it's the exact same early game from last game, except for a slightly earlier Worker Scout.
Pylon, Stalkers, Walk Gate all coming through. The Stargate is about halfway done for Maxpax. And Skillous with the Stalkers, purely Stalkers this time. We'll then follow up with some sentries, so... Generally same idea on both sides, and we'll see if anything happens as Skillous sends a probe to the top, and at this stage of the game, you gotta expect that that's for a Pylon.
Yeah, for a Pylon and potentially even... something else, something spicy. Skillous actually lost his probe on the other side, which is quite annoying, to the Zealot, so you never really want to lose your probe to the Zealot, there's no reason to. But yeah, once again, very late Nexus. Maxpax will scout the lack of a Maxpax. Maxpax will scout the lack of a Nexus. Sorry, in Skillous is natural. And what these extra Stalkers allow Skillous to do is to always try and catch this Adept and then instantly go to the other side of the map and apply extra pressure.
Yeah, which is great as we do see that Pylon coming down. The Oracle is surely going to see this time around, so Maxpax is going to get the vision and the information that this is happening. So now you know, now you're aware this Oracle will continue across. There is an Adept there that we could use to get rid of that probe as well, and now we're going to use it to combo with the Oracle in toward the natural as Maxpax pulls back towards his ramp already. Void Ray starts up very quickly here. Oracle is going to dive straight into the main base where there is a battery, but we can of course still Stasis Ward. And there's the Adept too, so like I say, you can drain battery energy pretty quickly, but he's just going to go for the Stasis. Oh, huge Stasis, hits everything.
Yeah, Skillous this time not with a perfect execution. He was too focused at the front, and even though he's making good progress there, he's not mining at all right now, so that was not part of the plan, as we have a lot of batteries going up. 2 Stalkers are still alive. He's not trying to focus fire down the pylons, which there are 2 of at the natural, but the Void Ray starts up, and I think Skillous needs to retreat. And I mean, his entire middle lane is frozen, so now it finally isn't anymore. He's actually up in Workers. So that's really, the more I watch these games, the better I think this response looks, because now Skillous messed up twice. A, he let the Adept go in, and B, he didn't pull the probes away. Let's imagine for a second that these probes were mining the entire time. It would look quite good for him, as I think it already doesn't look too shabby for him whatsoever.
Oh, it looks fine. It doesn't matter that he's not doing too much across the map, because like you say, everything at home is looking pretty respectable and reasonable in this situation. So that definitely helps us here. As we do have the couple Stalkers sentry gathering up, and they get ready to move forward as well. So a little bit of motion over on that side. Just going to be seeing the Oracle is going to go for another stasis ward.
No.
Oh, felt like you kill
what?
it, and you get caught.
Dude. Oh, he gets the Oracle, that's huge. Okay, we take those, we take those. I mean, it's a lot of lost mining time, and that's not what he wanted, but killing the Oracle is quite nice.
That's definitely a pullback in the game a little bit, as our pros will get back to mining. I mean, like you say, Skillous made definitely not the perfect set of choices in this game, yet the setup is still fine for him, right? He's still in a good work account. Blink is at an absolutely reasonable point in time as well. There's a couple of Void Rays that really lose value as this game goes on for the most part as well, so yeah, Skillous has got to be feeling pretty okay right now. Losing units to the Void Rays and so is maybe a little scary though, so does have to be somewhat cautious.
Yeah, Maxpax also needs to watch out though that he doesn't get force fielded in, because I don't think if his units are committed in, I think he loses that fight against Skillous' army. This time he's on time with the shield battery block, so that's good. Blink is not done yet. I think Maxpax saw that there was no early Twilight at the very least with his Oracle, but I am expecting him fully to go back very soon, because I don't think he's that confident in the Blink timing. And it looks like Skillous wants to 5-gate. I think he's going to proxy a pylon in the gateway, and he's going to try to kill Maxpax on his side of the map.
Well, he is going to try and get this pylon, which he will succeed in. Energy Overcharge got used here as well, as the Void Rays will out DPS the battery healing, so he's able to continue getting kills for the moment, and the Void Rays now getting turned away. We do keep both alive. The Adepts get into the natural at the same time, so Maxpax doing a nice job here.
Yeah, there it is. It's a proxy gateway. The last couple of moments were really good for Maxpax. The one thing that he doesn't have is the stasis wards. No defensive stasis wards. He also doesn't have sentry. He has one sentry for Guardian Shield, but that's about it. He even went for an early robo for an observer, because obviously he lost the Oracle, so he needs some form of detection. Which that robo will help him in a little bit when the first Immortals come out, but that means it's less Stalkers for Maxpax. So the army of Skillous is looking quite good, with a lot of sentry energy, a lot of force fields available. Blink already is done for Maxpax, so the force fields are not the scariest, but still a lot of Guardian Shields as well.
Yeah, I mean, Guardian Shields, force fields can still force you to blink back sooner than you might like to as well, though, right? And it can force some of your units to not quite be able to get the concave they want, so definitely factors. As our Stalkers and Sentries still step up, a couple more probes are still dropping on down. As the Voids come through again, we're going to lose one Void Ray. Immortal showing up, it's really stuck in the back. It's a great force field that Immortal's completely stuck and able to do anything at all. And Skillous gets to continue to sit on this third base. He is running out of sentry energy though, so that's going to be that gone. Can he just get rid of the Immortal here quickly this time around? I think he can just die for it. His opponent already blinked upwards. And Skillous still has defensive blinks available, so he'll continue to trade well. He loses some workers across the map, but he's killed a bunch here as well as they got pulled in. Maxpax, however, is going to have enough to start chasing now. And he will push Skillous back as this trade goes back and forth.
Yeah, that was good enough for Maxpax. He still has a 7 worker advantage over Skillous with the counterattack damage that he has dealt. And now he's almost equal in Stalker count, plus he has an Immortal, plus he already started +1 upgrade. Whereas Skillous doesn't even have a Robo, so he doesn't have detection. He's just gambling on there not being a Dark Shrine, and he's still very much so all in. He blinks forward, he kills the Immortal. That one was maybe a little bit overextended, but that means that Maxpax's Stalkers can now blink back, whereas Skillous' blink was on cooldown. So the fight overall still very much so favors Maxpax, as he's taking a significant supply lead, and GG is called. Maxpax takes the lead once again.
Yep, Maxpax gets it done as Skillous. Definitely a good position, definitely could have played into a better spot, but just needs to not make the mistakes, right? At the end of the day, you make too many mistakes and you're going to get punished for it, and this is a game where that definitely feels like it happened.
Yeah. Also, chat is wondering if the probe pull can't actually kill stasis wards, because we've seen him fail twice now, but probes can kill stasis ward, but it needs to be 4 probes attacking the stasis ward, and the stasis ward was up against the shield battery and Skillous is natural, so not enough probes were able to attack it, and that's why all of his mineral line got frozen once again for the second time during that game.
Pretty nuts. So many good stasis wards. Alright, we're going to go to El Dorado. And kick off into game number 4 as Maxpax has the chance to win this out.
This is an interesting map where there is a ramp, but you can theoretically blink into the natural from the other side as well. It's difficult to mine that, so you can't just walk in there with a normal stalker attack. So you would think it's a map that Maxpax rather enjoys. At least that would be my guess.
Alright, let's see what we get. As we go to El Dorado. With all of its options and all of its opportunities, has a ramp as you mentioned. Definitely opens this one up in terms of how much certain players are going to enjoy it, most likely.
I wonder how much better Stargate is than no Stargate if you go 1 gate expand against 1 gate expand. Supposedly it's quite a bit because I know most Protoss players don't want to go into a Phoenix against Maxpax, since he seems very dominant in that. But still, even if Skillous is planning on macroing like in game 1 on a map with a ramp, he didn't want to go 1 gate against 1 gate, so that leads me to believe that it is not easy to play 1 gate against 1 gate, where you both expand and then you're trying to be the blink player, so they're more comfortable doing it off of a normal 2 gate expand.
Let's see what happens then. We actually have low ground pylon from Skillous as well, by the way, so he might try and match. Maxpax on the expansion. Could be fun.
Nexus first.
Oh. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I am not experienced enough to tell you if this is punishable or anything, but I can tell you that I've seen people try it before against Maxpax. This won't be Maxpax's first rodeo against someone trying to outgreed him.
Yeah, he's definitely played against this before, 100%.
Yeah.
I've seen it a few times in the past. Not the craziest things then, as we get ourselves settled for the next few moments. Just have ourselves the Nexus coming through, Gateway coming up, Nexus still on the way in as well, so a little bit of everything coming through for the moment. We'll take a few moments to see where we go in the next little bit.
Maxpax lost his scouting probe against probes of Skillous in Skillous' main base, so even if he was planning on doing something aggressive, he couldn't anymore. That has to sting, because you really don't, like, there's no reason to lose your probe against the Zealot I said before, but there's really, really, really no reason to lose it to probes.
Yeah, completely unnecessary. Like you say, just a mistake that shouldn't really be made. It's a little bit costly. As that cyber core comes up from both, the Nexus comes through, Gateway coming into play.
So yeah, I think it's the same advantages from Nexus first over Gateway expand. I can tell you from the PvZ matchup where the cyber core is way later, which means attack will hit later. So you can't play Stargate against Stargate, but you will have more economy early on, obviously. His warp gate is going to be later as well, so that's why he needs the 2 gate. He needs to go double gate, but already we can see him being up 4 workers. So that's advantage. 5 workers now even. And he's full walling to make sure he doesn't need to deal with an Adept plus an Oracle harassment. So I think Skillous is just trying to get an economic lead and then go into Blink, try to play from there, which I don't mind it. It's a good setup, and he won't even need to kill any of his gateways to take a 3rd base, which he would on another map, right?
Yeah. It's actually very true. Okay, cool setup then, as Skillous shows us a cool way to get going here on this one, and we take some time to get set into this game number 4. Sorry, my voice is dying. Have a drink.
It's all good. Skillous is starting up his Twilight Council. He's playing it safe. He has a shield battery in the main base already. Honestly, even a little bit too early for a potential Oracle. It's a bit annoying for Maxpax that he didn't know for sure if it was Stargate or not, but yeah, he went with the Oracle first, and I think that's a safe choice to make. Just going Oracle into Blink. So he's playing similar to game 1, down a couple workers, but with an Oracle on the map. This time he's even further down though, from what I can remember from game number 1.
Couple probes going down. Sentry's going to be there. Let's have our Adept of the Sword. Just going to poke at that wall off until there's a response. Obviously, you need the high ground vision to be able to poke at this. Otherwise, that could be quite annoying, right? You're able to really poke back for a little bit. So, high ground vision at least needed. Magic going to start fighting the Stalk a little bit. The Oracle will come through. And we just back away as the couple of gates morph into Warp Gate and continue to just put some damage on the side core.
Yeah. Maxpax is just trying to be annoying, but he's never going to get anything here, I don't think. If he forces a battery, it will be huge, but I really don't see it. So, yes. His third base is once again earlier. And because Skillous is pinned in his own side, on his own side of the map, it doesn't matter as much that he has less units on the ground. This time around, he only went for a single Oracle to be a little bit safer in terms of raw unit production. And Skillous warping in 3 Stalkers at once. Now the Oracles also killed some workers, so Skillous only had 3 workers at this point. 2 even at this point. So yeah.
Well, Hallucination flies over. Just going to see the blink coming up on both sides. The Nexus will build. And we have, yeah, obviously 2 different directions right now. So you got one direction going upwards, Maxpax expanding up, Skillous taking the bottom of the map. And that does create an interesting divide in terms of where you attack, where you focus your defenses to. Definitely going to be interesting.
Skillous, confident at least that there is no proxy Dark Shrine, because he got the scout in Maxpax's main and natural that there was no Dark Shrine, and he feels confident to play without a Robo entirely, which is cool to see. He does have way more Stalkers than his opponent, but if he wants to engage them, he would need to blink over his own wall, and he does exactly that just now. Maxpax not in range of his Stasis Ward. The second Stasis Ward connects.
Yeah.
How close is Blink to finishing? It's actually quite close, and I don't think Maxpax has competitive numbers. He should at least try to poke at this, I think.
Yeah, Skillous saw the first Stasis Ward on the top coming up, so he obviously went for that one, and obviously he did not realize the second Stasis was there. As you say, he might be able to get a couple of units here, Maxpax. There's some Adepts on the bottom side as well. He will chase up. Doesn't do too much in the end, so that gets chilled out.
I love the way he's abusing that wall. And now instead he's rotating towards the bottom side with the Stalkers. Skillous' Stalkers will need to blink over those gold minerals, I feel like, if they want to have a chance at trading. Oh, that was good for Skillous that was a blink forward. Otherwise, Maxpax could have taken the fight there, microing back his units, whereas Skillous didn't have the ability to.
Oh, there's a Stalker going to lose 2. And turn around a few of those Stalkers as well. Go back and forth. The +1 attack and charge on the way from both. And Skillous able to chase Maxpax away for now as the extra gates come online. The Robo facility building from Skillous too, so it's going to be an extra little bit of tech he's invested into at this point. So, yeah, we'll have that on his side to maybe make use of.
I wonder how he wants to mine from this gold base, because then he needs to defend not only the bottom, but also he needs to be at the top of his gold base minerals. I think especially if Maxpax was to get out the War Prism to multi-prong it, this base setup becomes hell for Skillous, as once again he starts poking at the Cybercore. He will get it this time around. He has a Stasis Ward to fall back to. Skillous will accidentally clear it with 1 Stalker. God, I tried to do it without even losing the Stalker to the Stasis, but that was a bit too fancy, as he now loses 1 Stalker there. 2 Adepts straight into his own third base. The Adepts were not synced perfectly though, the attacks, so they only get a single probe. But yeah, how do you mine from this base now is the question.
Well, it's going to be very tough, right? So you've essentially built yourself into a base that isn't going to do much, and if you over-defend that position, then this position gets hit instead. Being Scott losing some gateways here, that's a problem. I mean, some Zealots are going to give themselves up to try and push these Stalkers away, but you're never losing Stalkers to this. You actually blink Stalkers down from Skillous, so he's going to very aggressively chase Maxpax away. But then there's going to be the ping-pong effect, and now the gold base under fire as a few Stalkers show up there to hit some probes, and that is the challenge that Skillous will consistently face in this game now, as he does at least successfully, quite convincingly push Maxpax away on the top side.
Yeah, that's good. I don't think Maxpax should go back all the way though. I think he should stay aggressive on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
And keep abusing that gold base, because see, now that all the Stalkers are here, if your army once again shows up at the top of the gold base, what can Skillous do? Because you can't just blink on top of the other guy, because then your blink's on cooldown. So the fight will always be atrocious. Tries to recall, will get 1 Stalker out of there alive. Maxpax takes the slight supply lead. Skillous is outmining him though in terms of minerals, since he's mining from a gold base. So as long as Maxpax doesn't do anything, that lead will shrink.
Dogs will fight. Stasis Ward's coming up. And you have Maxpax. Still, obviously, just wants to do more. Like you say, there's a gold base in play. You do not want to let that gold base go up freely. So, you can deny that as best you can. That would be brilliant. Was that the prism you just caught on the top side?
Yeah, I killed the prism
Very
there.
nice. Great catch.
Yeah, he's up 20 supply now. I don't think he should fight here. He blinked back all of his stalkers, which is kind of sketchy. Skillous activates Guardian Shield from downtown.
Yeah, we're actually going to see Maxpax has a lot of units that are going to walk towards their natural again. So this is where you go. You start trading on this other side. You blink back, but then Zealot Stalker's going to go and fight onto the natural wall. And again, Skillous is in trouble. You got to deal with this. I mean, this is more than just a warp in of units as well. He warps in a couple Stalkers, sends a couple Zealots over. Like, this is nowhere near enough of a response. And as soon as you start sending more Stalkers up, Maxpax is still right there. He did blink all the way down to get back on position on the goal, but I think he's doing the right thing. And Maxpax could even maybe blink to the high ground and just cut off some of those units. Like, just blinks to the left there. I mean, he continues to take a supply lead. He's doing the right thing to make the gold base not worthwhile.
Yeah, Skillous now takes the bottom gold as well, which I think is better.
Yes.
I think just transferring his probes away from this base should be the way to go at this point, as yeah, this base is just giving him a lot of troubles trying to defend it. Maxpax now does what you suggested, and he goes with everything towards the left-hand side. Skillous was not ready for it, so once again a very good and positive trade for Maxpax. Skillous is up an upgrade throughout all of these scrambles, and he catches a lot of zealots actually on the high ground. That was definitely a good trade. Now the stalkers should once again go towards the gold base, I think.
Yeah.
Like just spinning off a couple there to maybe kill the cannon, and then hitting the probes would have been good. Skillous is down in workers, still heavily outmining Maxpax though, because right now he's mining off of 2 gold bases. Also his +3 is earlier than Maxpax's. He has zealots ready here to defend that bottom gold, so I mean, now that he actually has control over this side, it's not looking too bad for Skillous anymore. He just needs to make sure that he mirrors the movement of Maxpax.
See if he can do it as we have the Stalkers continuing down to the bottom. The Stalkers get across, a few more probes going down, and we'll continue to go fighting right here. We do have the Stasis Ward setting up. Maxpax is kind of getting cornered a little bit. That Stasis is going to get solved by a single Stalker. Massive Stasis on the top side. He can blink across the gold minerals to try and get away, but yeah, this was very good for Skillous. Can he keep up the pressure? He has to recall a bunch of units home to deal with the counterattack as he loses a bunch of workers there. Zealots are going to get on top of those Stalkers as well already, so a few Stalkers already going down makes this still a decent trade for Maxpax, who's now going to walk into that natural with a bunch of DTs. There's one observer out in this game for Skillous, and it is on the middle of the map.
Yeah, it is huge. He's trying to make a cannon in each base, but that cannon just gets one-tapped by the DT. And he has to defend 3 places at once now against the DTs. I think Maxpax should be active again with the Stalkers, by the way. While all of this is going on, I think he could be doing a better job of moving out at this point. But now Maxpax is starting to way outmine Skillous. He has a 30 worker advantage. The only thing that Skillous has going for him is he has the much better army. He is up almost 20 army supply, and he will have +3 against +2. So I think it's go time for Skillous. I don't think you wait around. I don't think you sit here and keep defending. I think it's time to run across the map and F2 A move towards a potential victory, because I think that's his best chance.
Well, he is going to come from a big shove through the center. Skillous here as he has that upgrade lead as well. Got to be so careful of the Stasis Wards that can buy Maxpax a lot of time. As they fight in a choke to barrier, a lot of the units from Skillous will not get too involved. Once again, Maxpax just sends a counterattack across the map. Zealots and DTs combined are going to hit that natural and force his skills to be even more all in. As Maxpax is going to fight this position because he's got Stasis Wards here. If he didn't have the Stasis Wards, I think he'd be absolutely fine to just give that up actually and just kind of, fall back even further. But yeah, may as well utilize the stack defense you've essentially invested into already. So working with that, another Stasis does get a catch. There's a couple of observers stepping through. If we can target those down here as Maxpax is exactly what he does. Now you can warp in a DT defense. So that's going to be frustrating as well for Skillous, who will probably have that to deal with very shortly. As 3 DTs warp in, yeah, Maxpax realizes the opportunity that he just created for himself.
Yeah, that was huge. Without that Observer Snipe, I really like Skillous' army there. As he's trying to clear up these DTs with the Observer. He's up 40 army supply right now, but he just can't keep going because of those pesky DTs. He lost his own natural, so he kind of needs to keep going. Those DTs are in the danger zone. I mean, As long as he gets an observer to the front, his army is still better than Maxpax's, but he's not threatening any of the new expansions, so he really needs to kill the army. Or at least the economy. Oh, that's a huge stasis ward. Blinks back. I still think his standing army there was a little bit better, so I don't think Maxpax could have just blinked on top of him, but... it's... Yeah, I mean, he's on a timer. He's getting way outmined, as I said previously. It's just that his army is also a lot better right now. He lost another observer there.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that DTs can keep pushing you back, you're just losing so much time. You're right, the army is better, but Maxpax is using every tool he has to just make it so that army can't make a game-ending move. In a state of the game where you kind of need a game-ending move to come through, right? The DTs are going to split. I'm going to see one going down. The other heads into the main base as well. And Nexus taking damage on the bottom, so we're going to lose one of those golds. As Maxpax, again, just trading a little bit here and there, blinking back and forth. The army supplies are getting closer and closer, though. It's now 112 to 102. It was a 30 army supply difference previously.
Yeah, and the Oracle is still just... is getting energy recharged off cooldown pretty much, and all of these stasis wards are just coming from one Oracle, plus the Nexus ability is pretty sick. As, yeah, Skillous just can't push for the win. He has a free base to kill on the left side, which he didn't even know about before, but even if he kills that, he will run out first, since he has taken the gold bases, and Maxpax's base is more healthy. Maxpax now has taken the army supply advantage as well. He just keeps trading on the other side of the map positively with these run-bys. And he keeps forcing Skillous to run into those chokes. This is what I wanted to see from Skillous, the forward blink and being super decisive. Just a little bit too late, I think, at this point. And not sure if it would have worked either way, because it's just such a pain to kill someone who's messing stalkers and status wards.
Yeah, no, it's going to be rough as we just see more zealots getting warped in. His army of skills continues to press forward. A few more probes going down. Our +1 armor is halfway done from Maxpax. As that would be a nice even up, but it just doesn't going to matter, because quite frankly here Maxpax just has too much, and he's going to find the 3-1 victory over Skillous. As the last portions of Skillous' army just doing what it can. All of his bases are flashing because they're under attack, and Maxpax is going to win it with the 3-1 victory.
Well played, Maxpax, being the more defensive player that is working a lot with good army movement, good run-bys, and Skillous both games got forced into an big army all-in, which is it's always uncomfortable against someone who, as I said, has a lot of stalkers, a lot of stasis wards. But that sets us up for a top 4 with Cyril against Clem in the winner's bracket, and the lower bracket being Reynor against Maxpax too. So 2 very cool matches that we're going to have tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's match is looking great. Starts with Reynor versus Maxpax. We follow up with Cyril versus Clem. Gonna be another bang day of Starcraft 2. Alright, mate. Thanks for casting. It was fun.
Yeah, thank you as well.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
As always. Yes, I think so.
Awesome. Sweet. I'll see you there then.
Alright, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Wardi's chat.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Adios. Alrighty, guys. That's it for the Starcraft 2 today, but I am going to be doing the Royal Match stream portion of the sponsorship. I know we've been pushing it for a while. We did the half an hour at one point, but we need to actually do the other half hour because my PC crashed back then. I think it's something to do with my capture card. It might happen again, but we can at least just try and do half an hour of it and see how we go. So we're going to do that. We're going to get this ready to go. Kick this off and stream some Royal Match for the next hour or so. So let me just set up for that. Obviously, if you're on YouTube, the stream is going to go offline. We're done. There'll be a YouTube upload later tonight. But yes, we'll be back tomorrow as well with those other Liuli Cup matches. Cool. All right. Let me throw in. Going to put that onto D&D. Cool. So yes, YouTube. Thank you so much. When is Cyril vs. Clem? Tomorrow. Cyril vs. Clem is tomorrow. Thank you so much, YouTube viewers. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you're on Twitch, like I say, I appreciate you probably going to leave because the Starcraft's over. But if you want to hang around and watch me play Royal Match and watch me play the game that everyone else has been downloading and playing and helping us out with, we're going to get into that. The Gyron, thank you so much for the 46-month resub. Keep it up. Wolfed. Wolfed's definitely a new way of saying Wardy, but hell yeah. Alright, let me turn the YouTube stream off.